What up and good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast. And man, like today was quite the scary morning just from the last 20 minutes or 15 minutes. I thought I had I'm gonna introduce the guest first and then I'll tell you why I was actually scared because it had to do with the guest. Joining me across from me is, of course, my toxic ass co-host, as usual, XG. What's going on, XG?
What's up? I'm excited as well. This is pretty epic for us.
I mean, this is very epic because
we won the game.
Yeah,
games, you know?
2 years, bro.
Yeah.
2 years, and it's just we've been going, and it's been probably the most.
Tell him how much you cried, dude.
From when what? Chicho left?
Yeah.
Man, I'm still not done crying. That's a different story. That's
that hurts my soul, man. I'm upset. And then he scored against us too.
Yeah, but didn't celebrate. You know, which is respectable sportsmanship in my eyes. People can say what they want, but let's give a warm what is a hand of applause to our guest, one of the LAFC Falconers or Hawk guys, Jason M Miknuk. Miknuk. Welcome to the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast. Thank you for joining us, man. It is quite. I grew up watching morning shows like Good Morning LA and stuff like that when I was getting ready for school, and I would always love the segments when they would have the zoologist guy come in and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you these crazy animals." And then before that, I used to watch remember that show? Me and You and Sabooma. Yeah. I used to watch that, and I always used to be like, "Man, how come?" I used to ask my mom, "How come those animals ain't at the pet shop?" You know what I mean? I used to always want those crazy animals. I wanted my own lemur. And what would you say your career is?
I'm a professional falconer.
Professional falconer.
Yeah, I play with hawks and falcons for a living. That's it.
Now, my whole thing? Let's start from the beginning, bro. How did you know you were even how did you know you had this Dr. Doolittle gift? It's a Dr. Doolittle kind of gift.
It kind of is, but you can develop it though. No, I grew up with it. So you know my dad, Ken, right? He's the OG.
That's your pops?
That's my dad, yeah.
Your dad looks like Michael McDonald, dude. I told him that, and he just laughed. I was like, I know you know who it is. He's fly ass music. Yeah.
So he did falconry. He fell in love with it when he was 10 years old. Lifelong obsession, right? And it's just something we've always done as a hobby. So I grew up in falconry. This is how my dad and I bond as a kid. It's hey son, let's go get this red tail out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna go chase bunnies around with this hawk, right?
But did he have as far as you remember, did he have a bird already? How did he learn? Because that's quite some dads, if you have a ranch, they teach you to ride a horse and stuff like that. Falconry is very unique. That's a very how did he knew he had it for the birds?
He growing up, from what he told me, he was always just in love with nature, right? He was always a little nature kid running around. So old school Orange County, when it was actually still open and everything like that, all the fields. So he used to follow all the animal trails and just had fun with that. One of his best friends, Jeff, calls him up on the phone because there's this guy that has a hawk and it's just sitting in his backyard. My dad didn't believe him, and he instantly fell in love with it. And the guy had taught him for a couple of years, and my dad just took it and ran.
Oh, so that was the OG that taught him a little game.
Yeah, so falconry's been around close to 7,000 years. The only thing that's changed is telemetry. So when you held the bird earlier,
7,000 years.
Yeah, 7,000 years, give or take. Depending on who you're talking to.
The Japanese would do that a lot, bro. That was a royalty thing, bro. They'll have bird cage. They have bird cages, and these fools will come out of these wooden triangle houses. They still have them in the middle of the parks where they conserve, where the birds would come out. And I'm they were there wasn't just, I don't know the difference between those kind of birds, but I know they were predatory birds, which is what this is, right?
Yeah, that's a real bird.
Yeah, that's a real
bird food. Caviar. I mean, macaw's caviar to me, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. There's real birds, and then there's bird food.
So the macaw's the chihuahua of dogs, almost where it's not really a real dog. It's just a little play thing.
It's a toy. Most pet birds are a toy. Chihuahua. It's a toy, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a Malinois, right? It's not a working dog.
Nobody's gonna be scared. In other words, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not gonna feel super secure if my chihuahua is barking while I'm getting mugged. I need more security than that. So it's been around for a long time. So at what age did you start learning?
I grew up with it my whole life. I remember I got in trouble with my dad, actually. I took my kestrel. It's a small falcon, about 6 inches tall, weighs about 3 ounces.
Some people take their dad's car for a drive. He takes his bird.
Yeah, I was 6 years old, 5 years old, and I took my falcon to kindergarten because I grew up with it. That was normal to me as a kid, right?
Right.
We're in the nature. We're taking these birds out. We're doing what nature designed them to do. We're taking them out. We're teaching them to hunt. And my dad was a big conservative as well too. Like he would help out the wild species, whatever species is struggling. Like a lot of falconers will take that species, train them for a couple of years, and cut them loose, and hopefully they make lots of babies, right?
Right.
So, and it's just I grew up with it. That's what I did. That was our bonding. So
you said it's been around for 7,000 years.
Yeah.
Would you say if there does it still evolve? Is it the same tradition? Is there anything new about it? Would you say it's still
all right,
basics?
It's the basics, I would say.
Yeah, it's about the same as it was. The only difference is like the telemetry. You know, on Ollie, you have that little orange or blue thing on her back.
Yeah.
That's GPS. That's it. Everything else is exactly the same. The train is the same. Everything about it is exactly the same.
I remember asking you while we were out there, and I think it was you that told me. That said, "Hey, at any moment, if the bird wanted to, it could just say, fuck it, I'm out."
Yeah, you experienced that earlier.
Yeah, and it's good. It's funny that you bring that because the only thing that I thought in my head, I was like, oh my god,
No.
like because I'm like I really thought I was like.
So explain what happened. So he shows.
Okay, so a week and a half ago, we're in the game. He tells me this, and like, well, we're in around, and I remember out of that conversation, amongst other things, is specifically telling me at any moment the bird could choose whenever I'm done and I'm out of here, and it's gonna bounce, right? We go down there, and he's taking out a crate, and he's taking out the bird, and the bird's rolling shotgun.
All right, real quick, I got to do a disclaimer. This is my fault. This happened, right? This isn't on him. This is 100% my fault. I didn't prep him. Continue the story.
Yeah, I felt like it was on me. I was like,
100% my fault. 100%. I'm the expert here, right?
So you know, he's like, why don't you take the bird? And I'm like, are you sure? Right off bat, the bird just saw me right now. He don't know me. You know, I'm thinking like a bird is like a cat, you know, like where it's like, you know, it's not gonna, it don't fuck with you. Don't fuck with it. Just leave it alone. It's like, it'll come to you. So I put the glove on and I'm like, wow, this is majestic. Look at his beak. I've never been this close. I was like, this could take my eye out. And he's like, don't bow your head in front of it. And I didn't. And then of course me, I'm like, let me just show Xavier real quick. Look how clean I look. Maybe he can get a cool picture. I'm like, Xavier, look. He's like, what? And he's looking for on top. And I don't know if like the bird got startled because, you know, it is such a thing as Hawkeyes. Maybe he's seen some movement from the top. But I didn't. There was a string that I was supposed to hold on to apparently. But
I had that wrapped around the glove. I didn't tell you. Again, this is my fault. This happened. All right. This is 100% me.
So the bird just goes and just flies into the tree. This tree that we hate up here, like so bad.
All right. What was your face though? I saw your face when it happened. What did you do?
I panicked, dude. Like I literally turned. I was like,
Man,
no,
you missed that.
Like I was like at a loss for words because have you ever seen a kid lose a balloon and the kid knows it's gone? Like we don't have wings, so like, you know, you're not gonna fly, or there's no Superman, there's nothing. I'm like, and I know he's a hawk trainer, but he can't even fly up to the tree branch and get it. You know what I mean? No call a firefighter, no nothing. So I was like, fuck, bro. Like I was scared, bro. And Ray ran down to capture it. So explain like how do you handle that kind of situation? Because I'm like, what can they really leave at any moment?
Yeah. You saw him. He went up to that tree. He made a choice to come back down to us, right? That was his choice. And I held up the food. And he said, "Hey, buddy, come on down." I walked around the car, got in a good place for him. He just jumped down to my glove. He got a little piece of meat. We got that on film.
Yep.
And yeah, that was it.
I have a question. Does it like know that there's other like bird species around that wants to munch on? Like you know, we have pigeons and stuff. Would it know like, oh, you know, there's a pigeon like 2 miles down. I'm gonna go get it.
He can, yeah.
Damn.
Like their vision's beyond anything we can fathom. It really is. So he's looking at everything, you know, 3-5 miles down the road. He sees every single bird, every single piece of movement. And if you're really bored later on, I can, you know, bore you to tears more so, and I can get into like the geeky science of all that stuff.
Oh, go for it.
Please.
Yeah, go for it.
Please,
now.
this is
Yeah.
like this is like for stoners. This is like it's like having who's that guy the black Bill Nye Neil deGrasse
Neil Wright.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. I love that guy.
I was listening to him this morning at Shade 4-5. He was talking with Sway in the morning. Yeah, and they were all just like at wow, and I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, it's in your line of career, bro. It's like to us, we just want to know so much because especially me, I'm a big nature lover, bro. Like I do agree nature is scary, bro. There's certain parts of nature where I just don't fuck with. Like the ocean, I respect it so much that I just stay away from it. I just don't fuck with it, bro. Like it's nice from afar, but you know, like I wouldn't want to say I rescue animals like on the same thing, but bro, I can't see an animal hurt and like or put in a hurt's position, and like I won't do anything about it. Like I just stop. I have like the most ungrateful ass cat, Harvey, who I saved from the carpool lane, and
give it some time, Ezone. Let it bond.
But I've been giving it some food, all right. And let me tell let me tell you, this motherfucker comes up when I'm only asleep, and I'm like, all right, bro. I'm glad I know you're alive. Yeah, but we're big nature like lovers, man. Like I feel like a lot of weed people or like people that are that live the lifestyle that I live. Like you always see like the Scooby Doos with their shaggies out there. You know what I mean? Like
that's a good way to put it. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, like you always see like the even like the old Mr. Rogers dudes with their cats in the house, bro. Like you'll see them. Go to Petco at between the hours of 1 to 3 o'clock. You'll see like the dudes who live by themselves and they fucking have a cat and that's their best friend, dude.
And no, they got little strollers
Yes.
and everything. Dude,
Yeah.
those cats and those little dogs live a better life than I do. I want a refund.
Right.
Yeah, straight up.
It's like dude's getting chauffeured around left and right.
It could be both ways, bro. Like I wouldn't want to be reincarnated and come back as the cat I rescued. Like I'd be like, damn, bro, I would hate people too. But then
It had a shitty life. Now it's gonna have the best life it's ever had, dude.
yeah, bro. But like, you still, it's like
as a dog owner, as a cat dog owner, as a pet owner.
okay, bro.
you're
But
pretty
think
up
of it
there.
like this: it's like being like a veteran's wife. It's like, oh man, he made it through war, but like it's unpredictable with what
it's
can
got
happen
major
at the house.
PTSD.
What if he just snaps or something like that,
Yeah.
bro? Like, by the way, shout out to everybody out there who does go to war. I wouldn't personally do it, but thank you everybody for your service.
So what's a geeky
You're
Falcon
welcome.
fact?
Thank
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, so you're cut from that special cloth. He's handling Falcons, bro. What part of the service did you?
I was a medic in the Army.
Oh damn! Oh my God, bro, a medic.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Okay, so medic, like,
don't miss it.
don't
Miss it.
You went across the pond.
I've been in most major conflict zones. All right. My background's a little bit different. So we'll get in this and we can go back to the bird stuff really quick then. All right. So I was a professional MMA fighter before I went into the military, right? And we're talking 2003, and I was already a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which was considered high at that time because it was still relatively new in the U.S. Right?
What year was this?
03.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was already a professional MMA fighter. I was making a living doing that. And then it's like, this is something I really want to do, and I'm poor and I'm hungry and I want food. To be 100% honest, that's what it was. It's like, I need to figure out plan B because I wasn't making a lot of money fighting at the time. So, and then they found out that I had the skill sets, and then we're redoing the whole combatives program, like how the hand-to-hand combat stuff. And it's like, all right, cool. We're going to dive into this aspect of it. So then I did a lot of training stuff. And I was teaching, I remember AIT, Advanced Individual Training. So you go to basic in the Army, then you go to AIT. And AIT, I was teaching my first sergeant, which is, guy high up there. He's in 15, 18 years in. And I was actually teaching him how to, do a certification for it. And then they brought me over, and I explained to the instructors what they're doing wrong. Got smoked, in other words, physical punishment, like bunch of burpees for a few hours, kicks for a few hours, run for a few hours, move sandbags for a few hours. Because I was sitting there as insulting the guy. I'm like, you don't know what you're doing, right? And I remember I'm an E2. This is like I have mosquito wings, like the lowest of the low, right? E1, you go in they call you a fuzzy patch, right? Because you don't have any insignia. E2. So there's this kid telling this full-grown ass man, had at least 100 pounds on me, that he's an idiot. I had no tact. So anyway, so that's where a lot of my career was spent, is doing training stuff and bouncing around. Going different conflict zones and doing various training over there for the most part.
Did you see a lot of gruesome shit?
Yeah. You don't want to get into that stuff.
No, I'm not saying that I want to.
Let me make everybody depressed right now. Yeah, no.
No, so I do have a question though. There are no Falcons used in the military. There's none of that aspect where they were like, "Hey, we need." That would have been dope. I actually thought that's what you went into. I was like, "Yo, the FBI was like, hey, we need a Falcon right now."
So a lot of my work is because I got the LAFC and I do a bunch of other stuff too with the falconry. So I do abatement. So the U.S. Air Force is the largest employer of professional falconers in the world.
Wow.
So because think about one of those engines. Think about how much is the F-35 that crashed? $1.4 billion that crashed 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about it. Bird strike on that, the motor getting absolutely destroyed. That's a multi-million-dollar incident they have to deal with. And now that aircraft is down for, months because of a little Tweety bird getting into the engine, right? So they'll have falconers and they fly around and create a hostile environment, right? It's like putting put a shark in your pool, right?
Yeah,
you're going to get out of there real quick. So that's also another thing. Like at BMO, you don't see seagulls there. You go look at the calling screen; it's covered in seagulls, seagull crap, and everything like that, right? And it's because we're out there, 1 to 3 times a week flying the falcons. And we create a hostile environment, and the pigeons, the seagulls are, oh, screw this, let's go away, let's go someplace safe, like natural birds are supposed to do.
That's wild.
See, I didn't. That's a crazy fact to just find out. Like to think that the Air Force, because I have a cousin who's in the Air Force, and I was like, he had mentioned something about it, but we were at a funeral last time I saw him, so I wasn't about to be like, oh hey, tell me more, but yeah, but
wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like mourning your relatives. But
Yes,
there's a time and place for everything.
yeah.
That's not the time nor place.
Yeah, but
Right.
it is that I never thought the Air Force would have been employing. Like, how many Falcons would you say are flying at the same time when you're doing these drills?
Shoot, that's a great question, man. So, contract, let's say March Air Force Base, right? 14, 18 hours a day, they got somebody on site flying the Falcons around. And so there's probably a dozen Falcons, and they're flying one after the other, after the other, after the other, constantly over that time span. So each Air Force base, Army base that has some sort of strip, they probably have a half a dozen Falcons there at least.
And that's because, I mean, this might sound dumb, and that's because jets fly lower than airplanes, right?
No, it's just the takeoff and landing. And then
So for airplanes, airplanes, they have Falcons too?
A lot of airports use it.
Wow,
So-
okay.
Yeah, it's a real industry.
Yeah, because I've seen when a bird goes into a propeller, into a plane,
Yeah.
that shit fucks up the whole bird. Yeah.
What is the movie over the pilot hits does a bird strike, has to land in the Hudson? A real event that happened.
Sully.
Yeah. So that's what happened. He hit 2 geese, both engines went down, and he landed in the Hudson perfectly.
And whose mistake
Bro.
was that? Why were those geese there? Who is there someone to blame for that? Is that
It was just like a
normal
freak accident.
Nature, dude.
Yeah, nature?
Right,
Okay, yeah,
so-
that's what I said. Yeah.
So the
try to
issue
blame
is,
it on them.
UN, when it used to be functional and work, they had the Migratory Bird Act put into place, right, to protect these, the migratory, all the different stuff. And now the numbers are just exploding, and it's unsustainable. And they can't undo the Migratory Bird Act, so it's really, really hard to, let's say, get a depredation permit because there's thousands of geese landing over here. So, like SoFi Stadium, they have a full-time falconer over there. They have a full-time falconer program because it's in the flight path. You got all that water, you got all that food and everything else. So it becomes a safety issue. And they don't want bird strikes happening as, planes are landing in LA.
Yeah.
It is on the path though, because you do see it when you're coming by, and then now it makes like I'm putting all these facts into retrospect, bro. Like you just blew my mind with the whole fact that how these animals are just they almost, we've integrated them to a part of society, bro, and the way we work. And they kind of like, it's like some Flintstone shit. Like, you remember when he used to ride the dinosaur to work and that was his car? These motherfuckers stop us from crashing, bro. Like, I will never get on a plane again and fear something more than birds being in the engine now, bro. Like, straight
Thank God for Falcons.
Yeah, it's a lot of the falcons. So it's like Ollie-sized falcons and around that range, because it's about having the right size predator for the prey. Right? So if you think about it, like, you got a chipmunk, right? And you get a big old tiger and he roars at him. Chipmunk's not going to care because it's too big of a predator for him, right?
Yeah.
Now let me go get a house cat, Harvey.
Yeah.
Put him in front of her, and that chipmunk's going to have a fear of death. Like, he thinks he's going to die because that's the right size predator for the prey.
Yep.
So
now, what's the difference? Like, do you have, is there a difference between, obviously there is, but falcons and hawks?
Yeah. So the way that they fly is, first off, so in the shape of the wings. So if you think about it, like your airliner, right? It's cruising altitude, 400, 500 miles an hour max, right? So it's really for lots of lift. So the wings are out wide, flat. Now the F-16 was actually, in those slick back models, was actually modeled after Falcons. And this goes back to a defensive contractor in the DOD. And he wanted something more streamlined because of the Falcons. They're built for speed, high end, right? So Ollie, her top speed in the stadium is 210 miles an hour.
Whoa.
In the stadium. So she was at the top of the stadium, and to accelerate from 80 feet, 100 feet maybe, to the top of the very top of the arches, right? Mm-hmm. there, so 40, 50 miles an hour to 200 plus miles an hour.
And you say that because she can go faster than that if she can go higher?
Yeah. So right now the world record is the Peregrine Falcon, which has a top speed of 240 plus. We don't know how much higher or faster it is. That's where everything maxed out at.
Whoa.
So
like we don't have technology to calculate it or to.
Well, the guy that did the experiment, it's extremely expensive, time consuming. Really rich falconer, basically. Like, let me get a falcon trained to jump out of an airplane. Let me get a guy in a special suit jump out of an airplane with a pigeon, and let's get all this telemetry together and make this experiment happen, right?
You need Iron Man, dude.
Check my
Yeah. Sounds like you need Iron Man.
Yeah.
Now let me go get a. Last time I heard Elon Musk is too busy making spaceships to go to Mars. That's why he doesn't have an Iron Man suit yet.
Oh yeah.
Straight up, bro.
Yeah.
I bet he does have some kind of prototype, bro. But he's just like,
how do you not? Like,
yeah, like especially having that, dude. Like I would walk into an office and have like, what do you call those? That robot movie with Will Smith. Like 2 of those robots just walking around, be like, look, you can't go out the house, bro. Like otherwise, it's gonna blow the cover. But
like,
the house gotta be clean, dude.
Like I don't really expect him to die. Like I expect him, like if he really dies, where they're like, well,
you can't cheat death, dude.
No, little did you know, we already downloaded his subconscious onto this Tesla.
All right, so
where it's like some crazy stuff.
He has the
Neuralink,
right?
Yeah.
And then we got the other billionaire who's spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year trying to reverse aging. You know about that guy, right?
Yeah,
he's literally like cut 20 years off. Like he looks younger than me.
He uses his son's blood. He uses his son's blood.
I did see a video on that guy, and like his routine is so nuts. Where like he puts so much stuff on his face. He works out at like 4 a.m. His breakfasts are like it's very unique, and then he injects his son's blood or something like that.
Yeah, so young people blood because they're supposed to be more.
They did it with mice. They figured it out with mice. It helped out.
Yeah, and they're messing with telomere length, stuff like that. So, telomere lengths are the ends of the DNA. And basically, as it gets shorter and shorter, it eventually stops reproducing and replicating, right? And they're thinking that's part of what it do. So there's stuff that you can take and hormones that will actually extend the length of that. And there's risk to that as well, too. Because that's how your body kills off cancer. Because at any given time, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of cancer cells in our body that we're constantly killing off. So the ones that we're not killing off are the ones that the telomere lengths aren't cutting correctly, and it's not stopping the reproduction process. So that's the downside to using like those hormones and whatnot.
Do you know any downsides from stem cells?
As of right now, I don't think there is any real downside to stem cells. It's just figuring out how to get the correct organs to be produced, like they're producing ears on mice and experiments like that. So with CRISPR technology, are you guys familiar with that?
Yes, to make kids, to choose exactly how you make your kids.
Is that the same thing that Disney uses?
Yeah. So the thing that your homie wants to do, I think, is CRISPR. Yeah.
What is? Tell me
That's
about
my future Nino, all right?
So tell about your homie that works at Disney.
Because it's the same. He just verified it's the same company that has the same technology with them. So at Disney, my friend's an employee there. They offer employees there like this, like you can like build a baby, like build a bear. Like they offer that, dude, to their employees. Like there's a program that you can apply for it, and they'll choose you. Like they have to pick and choose you where you can like customize your baby type of deal. And like because it's a part of this program with Disney, like there's certain things that your baby can come with. And it gets weird,
Can you
bro.
get Mickey Mouse ears on them? Like just move the ears from here up on top.
I'm sure you could probably get like a birthmark that just has like a hidden Mickey on your kid, bro. Like, like I'm pretty sure you could.
At that point, I'd just rather get the tattoo.
Yeah, like
it sounds way cheaper.
Exactly.
But
yeah, they have a similar program like that, and it's crazy because he's told me, he's like, hey man, I'm thinking about going for it. I was like, and he's like, can you be my baby's godfather? I was like, oh man, I was just AI baby godfather. I would.
Yeah. So anybody that doesn't know what CRISPR is, they can literally go in and genetically edit out certain genes, stuff like that. You have several thousand sequences in your body, and you can actually turn on and off different genes.
Cancer genes, cancer
so you can
genes,
cancel it. So you can do something that actually will, let's say, have reduce cortisol levels. So this is something the Chinese are being accused of right now, doing with their athletes, is genetically modifying them and in the womb and growing these, basically as super athletes, super soldiers per se.
Yeah, bro. Japan don't just win the world baseball 3 years in a row just like because they're good.
Why would you lower the cortisol levels?
All right, so let's say cortisol levels, right? So
you can get a cortisol shot. I've gotten a cortisol shot. You play sports and you get a cortisol shot, and it kind of numbs it out.
So that's anti-inflammatory agent,
I want
right?
one of those now.
So cortisol is a really essential hormone in our body. That's what wakes us up in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol level is really, really high and your testosterone is low. And as the day goes on, they actually inverse. So you're at peak, testosterone, 3/4 of the way through the day, right? So 5, 6 o'clock at nighttime, you're at your
That explains
peak.
a lot.
So, and that's also, you see a lot of, like, with men especially, a higher sex drive in the evening time versus the morning time. And women don't necessarily have that same effect on it because testosterone is naturally so much slower to begin with. So cortisol has a lot of really good, important benefits, but also at the same time, it can really affect and hamper some of the genetic expressions associated around testosterone as well, too. So you are able to produce more muscle mass with less, free radicals and less breakdown over time, and that the stresses in your life are less likely to affect those gains. Because when you're stressed out, like, you gain weight and everything like that, right? And that's all with how your hormones are affected. So you're able to, inhibit some of those signals upstream. Let's say like omega-3 does, right? And it's considered DHA is considered. EPA, which is one of the acids inside DHA, is a upstream inhibitor. So it helps with inflammation. So DHA, about 30% of your brain's made of it, and EPA is a acid that helps with turning off the signals for inflammation. So you have chronic inflammation, you have achy knees. Taking omega-3s like krill oil is really, really good for you because it helps decrease not so much the inflammation itself, but the signals to send the inflammation to that area.
Salmon too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So bioavailability, the krill is the best one. I think it's like a threefold increase. Dr. Rhonda Patrick had a guest on her show a long time ago that dove into the science behind that.
She's a genius. She's a genius.
She's insane.
I hit the sauna. I hit the sauna every time I hit the gym because of her. It's just Mando. Like, it's just
Same.
the safe she. I've heard. The benefit she sets about just hitting the sauna 3 times a week is just
the stuff you're sharing is just like, I'm like, man, dude, you be on your health tip, man.
No, this like, I'm obsessed with learning anything and everything. Like, all right, on the way here, I was listening to somebody talking about bookbinding, how to make their own books and like take what they call signatures, like 3 of the pages together, and how they did all that stuff. So the 3.5-hour drive in today, it was insane. Traffic was horrible, but that's what I was geeking out on the way in.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
now here's the thing. You said you 3.5-hour trip. You also mentioned to me, you're like, is that how far Palm Desert is?
It's normally like 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes. Worst case, 2.5 hours. He did invite me, but I'm gonna go out to there and film something with the birds that you have. But do you need to live somewhere like that far to hold that many birds, or like? No, I'm just poor. Because I need land, like, period. Like, I have like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the farther you get, because it's like, I can't imagine you being a falcon trainer living in like by USC and shit. Like.
If I had like one bird, I can get away with that. If it was just Ollie and that's all I had, then I can get a little apartment and do that. But I've got 6 hawks and falcons. We have a full blown business around it.
So you have 12 birds total?
No, 6 birds in total.
Okay.
So between my dad and I, right?
Okay.
And we kind of have them separated. Some at his house, some at my house, in case something happens at one of the facilities. We have backups and redundancies in the program, right?
something as in like, do they fight? What do you mean? Like,
no, I mean, somebody comes in because PETA's not a big fan of ours.
Damn, I didn't think about that.
Like PETA, like anything with any sort of animals, like
pets. They don't even like pets. They think pets are humane.
It's better to euthanize them than let them live in captivity, right? I've heard, 96% or something like that. You can fact check me. Like something like 96% of all animals that they rescue in 72 hours are dispatched.
Wow, that is crazy.
Fact check me on that because I don't want to get in trouble for that's what I think it is.
No,
right?
They have a mentality where having a pet is to them is not. They're a slave. They're your slave.
You have like people that have you ever encountered any issues like that where people have tried to like liberate the birds just because they're like crazy radical on that?
Knock on wood. That's like most people, like if they're going to be verbally aggressive with me, I keep my distance. I keep my birds safe, and I want to get out of there, as quickly as possible. And that's something like every self-defense guy on the planet is going to teach you. Like the fight that you always win is the one that you can avoid. So if somebody's hostile, somebody's aggravated, I'm not going to engage with you. I'm going to go the other direction. I don't care how it makes me look, especially if I have, my bird. That's family. Like we had Tex out earlier, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, no, that's Bond. I get all my birds mixed up. So. No, Ollie's a couple shades lighter, so we'll pull it out for the cameras and everything too. So
yeah, I was gonna say if you want to bring her out, I was like you could feel free, but I mean, do you remember?
We'll do it towards the end, so that way we're just having fun basically, and we just bebop. And we can have the bird flying in here.
Oh wow.
Well,
That's the nice thing that's the nice thing about the Hawks is like he could fly in this little room. This is what, like 20 by 20.
Yeah. It's like a booth. Yeah, but
It's so not like a booth.
I'm saying it's like a high times booth. All right, bro. Some of these high times booths are pretty big.
So a falcon couldn't hang out in a room like this. It'd freak out.
She can Ollie can hang out. Like she's super stable. She loves the crazier the better. Like she loves being at the stadium, and that's really her jam. And every bird's different. Like when we started this program, we got 6 falcons, and we figured out which one would be best for us, and and where they'd be the happiest, right?
Yeah.
Because let's say like I would die in tears and boredom if you're like sit on computer and transpose all this for me, right? There's nothing worse you can do to me on the planet, right? And everybody has their jobs that they're inclined to. Like everybody has their own things, right? I got the freaking birds, like
Yeah.
all right, so
I get high with B-roll.
yeah.
How'd you know Ollie was the one for the stadium? Because you said you brought out all of them. Was it just
as they're growing up? So we imprint them. So we're taking them to Charger games, Rams games. We're taking them over to USC games. As little fuzzballs, literally. So you've seen the pictures of them where they're literally, they can fit in the palm of your hand.
So this is not just the LAFC thing, the bird flight.
Oh no, I take them to the games.
Oh, okay.
Like so they can all the noise, all the chaos, and all that stuff. So that way they're used to it, and we're imprinting them on it. So it was literally, every sporting event I can get into with the Falcons, and it's really cool. A lot of like the owners, so like Magic's one of the owners, owns the Dodgers and everything else. So we're able to get into a lot of various venues because of his access, which helped create Ollie and Sonny to be as stable and confident as they are.
Like, that makes sense. I was wondering, I was like, dude, how are they not freaking out? Like, must be intense for a bird. But I mean, obviously, I didn't know that you took them like as babies.
Yeah, so we imprinted them on it, and not all the birds liked it either. And there's one falcon. He wanted to just be a mass murderer, like anything with feathers. Anything with feathers. All right,
that's crazy.
Anything with feathers, like he was like. Like he looked like he was coked out of his mind and wanted to go eat them, which is really, really bad because I don't know, like a month ago or whatever it was, we had the that injured pigeon to land on the pitch, and Ollie flew 10 feet past him.
I did see that, but like me and my lady were filming the bird. I was like, how did it not stop itself from natural instinct, just tear it apart?
Absolutely focused. She has blinders on. She's staring at us like this. She goes, "That's nice," and keeps going. And that's the type of confidence, that's the type of stability that we're looking for in a bird. Now, if I had one of those other falcons, that would be a whole different thing. And that bird, it had some serious mental issues. So there's avian influenza going around right now. West Nile is really bad right now. And those specifically affect the brain of birds that cause the brains to swell, and they act really funny. So when you see a bird like that one, there is some brain damage that happened there. So, out of abundance of safety for my bird, that's why we train them to be focused on us, because a lot of other birds, including Tex, that would have been lunch, and then I don't have to worry about the secondary infection from that.
So the bird that you said, is that a parasite infection, or like
it's just a virus?
So it's a virus.
Yeah.
Is there how do you treat that? Is that bird still trainable? Like, are you still able to use that bird?
It has a mortality rate of like 90%.
Oh, so it's like it's just a matter of time.
So Bond actually got West Nile at one point, and I didn't even know. He's just kind of acting a little bit off. It's like, all right, cool. I gave him some extra food, just let him hang out in the house, and he got through it. And it wasn't until a couple weeks later, and he was molting out, dropping his feathers, and I'll show you guys later on off camera. Like, there's some feathers that look greasy because those were growing in when he got sick. So, and there's like pus and everything in there. And then I called up some vets, goes, that I'll put money on that's West Nile. So.
Damn. See, I didn't think that's obviously mosquitoes, right?
Yeah, and we've got invasive species now too. You guys seen the black one with like the white or silver bands? They tend to be like ankle biters.
Yeah, I have seen those.
They're all over my ankles, man.
Yeah, no, and they're after like certain blood types more than others. Like it's crazy because my girlfriend gets them all the time. I think they probably smell the weed in my blood and they're like, nah, we ain't trying to get high. Because I never get bit, bro. Like if I have to be, like they're probably just like, nah, bro. They're like, in their eyes, bro, I probably have that little sign that comes in my pen. This is California. Like they're like, don't try that food, dude. But yeah, no, those are some crazy. Those are the ones that quote unquote conspiracy theory says mosquito with a barcode. No, dude, it's just the way it's striped.
Hey
dude.
man, I slapped one and I saw it like close up. I see no fucking barcode.
No, people say that because it's striped, dude.
The white and black bars on it, it makes it look like it's barcode.
They say those are the Bill Gates mosquitoes.
Yeah.
No. So those ones are invasive. Those are invasive species from China. They came out to the U.S. Actually, the Port of LA, about 2001, give or take, is the best guesstimates that they have on it.
Damn, dude, you said they came from China. They could be Transformers, dude.
I want to put it past them.
Yeah.
With the CRISPR technology and everything on it.
Yeah, man. Straight up.
And it's like this big.
So do you feed them bird food?
No, you don't have bird food. Dog. They feed them meat.
The bird food is other birds.
Oh, look, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, so we actually ethically source quail. So if you ever go to a sushi bar, you have quail eggs, right?
Yeah.
Right. So those breeder quails aren't fit for human consumption. Instead of throwing them away, the guy then freezes them and then sells them to falconers for bird food. So literally, I'm taking what's considered trash and I get to feed my birds this. And it's honestly, to me, it tastes just fine. Like, because it'll defrost occasionally, so I can't refreeze it because it'll get the birds sick. Yeah. Right. So, if there's too much meat there, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll cook it up then.
But can you you can't just go like it has to eat like other bird. Like, can I go to a carniceria and be like, let me get 2 pounds of carne asada and just like not cook it and give it to them? Like, like will it eat it or will it get sick?
They would get sick off it. So people that find injured raptors, they'll do that a lot. They'll get like, we'll give them chicken or something like that. So if you look at it happens. Like I see it all the time. Like people call me up.
I'm not gonna lie, that's what I would have done. I was like, yo, just give some chicken.
Look, he's a predator. He eats birds. Let's give him chicken, right?
Exactly.
I can't blame you for thinking that way. But the thing is, it's not calorically dense enough. So if you look at, let's say, the quality of the meat. So let's say chicken versus turkey versus duck, right? Duck, super fatty. It's hard to digest, hard to break down because of our stomach acids versus like the falcons. They're trained for, eating, pigeon and doves and, seagulls. Like if you look at the type of meat, it's super, super, super red, super dark. So that's a lot of
good stuff.
Yeah, it's really calorically dense.
Yeah.
So now I use quail because it's a happy in between because I can feed both my hawks and my falcons that, and I keep the food the same because it lets me to regulate their temperature. So Ollie, she has a set weight. Like in the morning of the game day, like she is supposed to be 640 grams, which is about 1.2 pounds, right? Wow. And by the time we actually go to fly, she'll be about 615 to 620 is kind of like her ideal weight. And that will affect her flying too. Like the heavier she is, the more fun she wants to have, less focused she is, right?
Oh, wow.
Seafood, fat people, lazy.
Sorry, the fatter you are, the less focused you are.
I think I'm always trying to lose weight, dog. Trying to be more productive.
So, but that's really what is down. And so I can keep the food consistent, so I can measure it out. So all right, cool. She needs 55 grams the day before to get her to this weight. And now if I have like a variable, foods I'm giving her, let's say something like, I don't know, rabbit, or then I have squab over here, pigeon, and then I have quail. That's all going to be different caloric values for that same weight. So her weight's going to be all over the place, so I can't be as consistent. And that's what these guys really, really crave, is having that structure. Same thing, it's like, I think of it like working dogs, right? Like my Malinois, like I'm very exact on everything I do with them, how I interact with them, how I do my obedience with them and everything. There's certain standards that are expected out of me from them and vice versa.
Can your birds survive in the wild? If they were to just be released?
I like to think so, because they've had years and years of, basically training to hunt, right? So in the wild, there's a mortality rate in the first year alone of 90% when it comes to birds of prey.
Oh, damn.
So
they don't live that long.
No, in the wild, like 7 years is a great run, right? You're going to have 3 or 4 clutches. Think about one nick, one cut, you're dead, right? Think about, you ever had antibiotics in your life?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us had. And if we did not have that, we'd probably be dead.
Yeah, probably.
Realistically, like
The
so
weather
they're
would
like
kill us.
the birds that survive past the first year are like the genetic freaks, right? They're the NFL players. I'm not good enough to be in the NFL, so right, and it's just the way that's just the way it is. And so in captivity, they're able to, especially if we're teaching them to hunt, right? Like Bond and Tex, like those are quasi hunting birds. Like they get those reps in, and there's no consequence for failure. They just get to learn more and more and more. So,
because you got to think about it. I mean, he says it. Imagine being a falcon that didn't know when to stop. Because no one teaches you. Like he said, no one.
And they're hardwired. Like they know instinctively, but at the end of the day, it's absolutely terrifying. So when Ollie hit that 210, it was it wasn't even the pitch wasn't there yet. It was the sand underneath it with rebar sticking up. So it was probably 5 feet down from where the pitch is now. And so literally I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, oh my God, my bird is going to die. My bird's going to like explode on the ground, right? And so I pull the lure in and I just curl up in a ball. And I'm trying to get her not to focus on me. She comes down 6 inches from it and then decides she wants to weave through the rebar. And they play games like that. Like my peregrine falcon does the same thing. Like he loves, like I do a lot of stuff out in Coachella Valley. Like he weaves through the palm trees at 100+ miles an hour. And you can see him doing this full bank like an F1 car and just going through it. It's insane.
And just like everything else, they might calculate wrong one time.
Nature happens.
Yeah, and it hits a tree. Yeah, like, I'm sure it's happened. Like, yeah, they just like anything else.
Not to me yet, thank God.
No, yeah, but
but nature happens. They get sick, they get injured. They find a tree, they find glass. Like that's a real thing.
Damn, that's
number one killer of birds is in fact cats.
damn. He looked at me like he's like, I could tell you love cats.
he loves cats.
So I have a very not a loving approach towards cats because of how they have such a drastic impact on the ecosystem.
They do. They're killing some of the most beautiful bird species in Hawaii. Like, because they have such a feral cat problem out there. So like they've been running rampant in like the forest and the population of stranded birds that help fermentate the land and all this shit are fucking it up. It's like a whole ecosystem shit.
It is it's super complex, and it's like, okay, so we had the colonizers go into Hawaii and they bring rats come on the ships, right? So and now they got a rat problem that's eating all the produce and everything. So let's get some cats in, right? And the cats did a great job of cleaning it up, and they failed to see the impact of it.
Cats started fucking, and they fucking
nature happened. And there's a bunch of cats, and now they're taking over. Now they're eating not just the rats because the rats population is under control. So they're going after the birds and they keep populating. And now we have like Bjorn blackbirds, grackles, and stuff like that. If you go to Honolulu, the little blackbirds, that's like half my business is getting those guys away from you guys while you're eating. That's like literally they're that bad. They'll land on your plate and eat with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those. I know what you're talking about. Those little. They're
Bjorn blackbirds is an invasive species.
And those motherfuckers are kind of annoying too, bro. Yeah, I have to.
Kinda.
Yeah, I know.
Kinda. No, they're annoying as hell.
You see patios out there vacant. You're like, oh, this restaurant has no weight. It's like, no, bro. They just don't want the shit going beep.
Just invasive species everywhere though, and different animals too, like the pigs. I mean, the hogs over there in Texas.
You want some water, Jason?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I guess you can kill those hogs like on an airplane, on a helicopter or whatever. I've seen videos of that, and I'm like,
and they've gone to the point where they're allowing people to poison them, and I have an issue with that. I get it. Like it's destroying agriculture. They're killing livestock. Like feral hogs are dangerous. So like part of my family's from Arkansas. Like I'm half redneck, right? So as like a little kid, I'm walking around. Like I'd go walk off my grandpa's ranch, right? And I'm like 8 years old. I have a 22 Magnum on my hip for that exact reason, because there's feral hogs out there.
They attack you. Yeah, they'll attack the fuck out of you with the horns, because the horns come out, right?
The tusk, yeah.
It's the same animal, right? A pig and a hog. At the end of the day, just one's feral and then the horse. Because don't they evolve on sight?
Yeah. So literally within like a week or two, like they'll start growing hair, the teeth, these massive tusks will start growing out. It's absolutely insane. So then you hear the stories like Godzilla hogs that are like 1,000 pounds. So it's insane. But yeah, and we actually have them here in SoCal too. So if you go to like Hemet, they have an issue there. They're migrating further up north.
Seriously, I grew up in Lake Elsinore, so eventually they will be in Elsinore.
I put money that it's in South Elsinore. If you go down to Temecula area, like I'll put money that it's over there.
Wow. Yeah, because I mean I grew up and I've never heard of it, but you're right. It's just a matter of time. It's gonna if no one controls
There's no natural predator for it, and
what would be the natural predator? Obviously, you can't just throw a new animal in there.
Us like that. That's it. is like, and California has such restrictions on hunting, even on private land invasive species. They've loosened it the last few years because it's cost tens of millions of dollars. Basically, it's a $25 permit now, and then you have to get written permission from the landowner. I mean, land rights is really important here in the U.S., so it makes sense. But then it's like, okay, then inside county limits, you're not allowed to use rifles versus this. So there's a lot of limitations on what we can actually do. And then, a lot of the other, I'd say, less humane options, snares and stuff like that, we can't use because it's considered unethical and banned. But, we're literally fighting for, our land because they can kill, destroy, hundreds of $1,000s of crops in a day or two.
Yeah.
So, feral hogs, if you missed it.
Feral hogs?
Yeah.
Like the fools with the little horns?
Yeah, they're taking over. Nothing to kill them. What's gonna kill them? Oh, like the big cat. You saw the big cat, the Hollywood one that they have here. I think they even have a name for it.
P290 something?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
The mountain lion.
The mountain lion,
yeah.
that crazy mountain lion. How it's like how they just let it roam. It's like that's gotta get destroyed before it kills someone. There's like hikers out there. It's just a matter of time till someone could.
Yes and no. Most of the time, those guys are absolutely terrified of people. Like I've come face to face with the mountain lion before, and
You did the Chris Pratt?
no, all right. I was out. I had my bird out. We were out hunting. He flew across the ravine. He slammed a pheasant, and it took me like 45 minutes to climb down, go around, and I'm getting to him and above him, going back down, and literally I stumble on a mountain lion, and all I can think of is I pulled out my blade. So my normal. Well, you got to remember, I'm out semi-boonies, right? So my EDC is not the same as if I was here in LA, right? So I have a fixed, 7-inch Tonto and my pistol on me, and I pull out the Tonto and I'm just screaming at him. This Tonto's curved blade, right? And I charged him, and thank God that he chickened out because I didn't know what I was going to do next. I was like, my bird is right there. He's going to die. I don't no, that's like I said, it's like family. Like, I will go to war for my birds. They're as much as my family as my dogs.
He wasn't even thinking about eating you. Was all about the bird at that moment.
Yeah, he was because he was on
doing that little shit
bird.
they do.
Yeah, so he was there, and I stumbled on him, and I just pulled out the knife, and I just started yelling, and I charged him. I'm like, this is gonna make for a really really great story, or it's gonna be a hell of a thing on the nightly news. Earlier today, a professional falconer was mauled to death by a mountain lion after he lunged on, attacked, and grabbed it.
Dude, you go on the Hall of Fame though. You go on the Falcons Hall of Fame.
I'd expect the Darwinism Award after that one. All right, if I went out that way, you have to vote for the Darwinism Award.
I don't think an animal like that. I think like when something like that happens because it's such a wild animal, it's like almost like they just looks at it like the audacity. Nobody's ever had the audacity to charge at me, so I'm a book it because this has never happened. Everybody's usually scared of me, but you know what I mean? It's like when you see like a bear, like you can fucking scare the shit out of a bear if that bear's never been called on this bluff before. But you're taking that risk. You could die.
Like with grizzlies, they tell you, just slowly back up and go the other direction. You're not going to win. They find those bears like the man killer bears. They'll find them with dozens and dozens of like 9mm rounds in them, right? So
you've seen Grizzly Man?
Yeah,
I'll show you that documentary.
Yeah, that's just nasty.
Yeah, But it's the same thing now with like brown bears. Like, okay, then you get big, you get loud, and you get aggressive, and they're smaller. They're far more aggressive than the grizzlies are, but them to maul you, it takes a lot more effort on their part versus the grizzlies are what, like 800 pounds and terrifying.
Yeah.
Their paws are bigger than your face. Like, no.
Do you have other birds aside from like them? Like, have you ever tried training an owl?
I've had a few owls actually.
Yeah.
So, and owls are really cool, especially the type that we've had. We've had I'll show you a picture later. I grew up with an owl named Cosmos. It was a male great horned owl, and he hated everybody but me, and he was basically imprinted on me. And baby, I spent 5-6 years with him, and I would crawl into my dad a big free flight chamber about this size, twice as high, And I'd go in there, I'd dig a hole underneath it, and I'd go and I'd cuddle this owl. I'd like 4 or 5 years old.
He's got the cool ones, dude. Those are like the ones.
That's the
that-
Drake owl.
Yeah.
So, they have that. So now
Cool
the
one, yeah.
now the other one I actually really like a lot more than that. That's even friendlier. Those guys can be a dick. Like either really really sweet or they're a complete asshole. Like there's no in between.
Yeah,
But
the one like Hadley Blazers house likes to yell every fucking morning and night. Like,
Yeah. So check out the Eurasian eagle owl, right? And they're just a total love bug, and they're a semi-gregarious social species. So they imprint. They have a whole social hierarchy. They have verbal communication skills. Like mine would literally lay on my pillow with me, and I had them potty
Like
trained.
these right here.
Yeah.
damn, those are the ones that are on T-shirts with hippies wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
they've been having that.
And
shirt.
these are more calm. You said these are more.
They're not really common. Those are
Oh.
European species, but they're just so disgustingly sweet. Like it's literally a puppy dog with feathers. Like he laid on my pillow right here next to my head. So
And I mean, can you buy these?
with
Are these
a
even-
falconer's license, yes. So you have to be a minimum of general falconer. Means that you have to do falconry for 2 years as an apprentice, then get approved to become a general falconer. Then you can buy it because this is all super heavily regulated by state federal government.
I was
So
gonna
what
say
do
this is
for
with the state, right? Like,
Yeah, and county too now for LAFC. So I have county permits, I have city permits, I have state permits, I have federal permits.
And
Like-
is an apprentice hard? Or how do you go about?
So to be apprentice, basically, first question I always ask somebody: do you have a life? Yes or no? The answer is no. It's like, all right, cool. Because again, like these things demand as much as a child does, right? Because you come home at the end of the day, you work all day, right? You work your 8-hour day, and you got another hour drive each way, right? So you're 10 hours in your day, dinner, 12, 13 hours in your day, right? You're going to sleep 8 hours on top of that. So you only get a couple hours a day to interact with these animals. So you have to be dedicated and focused to it because they need that attention. So
No, I heard
it's
how
not like a cat.
No, I heard how I heard how calculated it was when you told me how much you need to give it to eat to weigh this much so it flies at this weight on this day. That's
Yeah.
like UFC MMA shit where like you're cutting weight and you can't eat
Yeah.
this and this is your diet because we've all trying to
Yeah,
body
calorie
weight.
count,
We've all
yeah,
tried to
calorie-
fucking be a bodybuilder and that calorie counting is just hard to do it for
He's
your
just in his
animal.
bulk, that's all.
Yeah, he's been bulking his
Yeah.
whole life.
I like how he comes into the conversation. Huh?
Yeah, he's all fucking. But no, that's very calculated,
Yeah.
obviously, to know exactly.
It's all the birds we have on a spreadsheet, all the weights, and then we put little notes in there too. And we kind of figure out what they're supposed to be like. So at the end of the season, we're going to let everybody bulk up a little bit. We're going to be doing a lot of, heavy, intense training as far as like, trying to build up muscle mass, right? So we're going to be doing stuff we call them verticals. So we got our, DJI drone. We go up a couple hundred feet. The bird just circles up as hard as he can to fly up to go grab the lure. So like, because we never talked about that. So the pregame ritual, you see us on the pitch, we're swinging around the lure, a piece of foam with the opposing team's crest on
Yeah.
it, right? So the birds that's their prey. They're trying to hunt, catch, and kill that when you see it. So
that's why your pops does the spinning thing and just throws it and.
it's basically a game of keep away at 100 miles an hour, and he's really perfecting it. Like he doesn't like to toot his own horn, but the dude's literally one of the best in the world. Like the Saudis and the Qatar, all the 5-10 generation falconers in the Middle East, goes like damn, like they know who we are and what we do.
Is that where that originates from?
I mean, Mesopotamian is one of the theories behind it. So we got a Mongolian theory, we got Mesopotamia. So it's all in that, that area, right? And the falcons in the Middle East is such a huge status symbol. And it's an artificially inflated economy, right? So, let's say a bird I can buy for, on that very high end here in the U.S., about $20,000. 7/8 year staker, all white or all black with like the perfect tips. Let's say,
Wow.
a falcon that looks like a seagull. I personally love it. My dad hates the idea of it. I would really want one day.
It's flashy. I like it.
Yeah, it looks like a seagull though. That's a problem. So he absolutely hates the idea of
Kinda
it.
cute.
But so those guys about $20,000 here in the U.S., right? And you go over to Qatar and you're looking at 150,000 for the same animal. But it's also raised
That's
in
gorgeous.
I can see why, dude.
Dude, that
you
is
see the seagull. You
gorgeous.
see the seagull
Yeah.
argument, right?
Dude, I just see that bird that the white Power Ranger fucking came out
Yeah,
with. Yeah,
dude.
like
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you eventually should get yourself a white one.
dude, that how much did you say that bird?
20
is?
grand.
It's about 20 grand in the U.S.
That is pretty balling, dude.
Yeah.
Like that.
Is it?
Can you train that one to go around the stadium?
That bird's actually, in my opinion, is too big, because it's a small stadium, right? I absolutely love it. It's really vertical. It's nice. It's not like the Coliseum, and it's just super wide going out, right? So having the right size bird for that venue to make it more visually stunning, to keep her inside the stadium. So Ollie's like the perfect size. Sunny, the backup Falcon's a little bit smaller, flies a little bit smaller. So that 600 gram range, it seems to be the perfect size for that stadium, because you see Ollie, like she goes, covers all four sides of the stadium. She's flying over everybody in the first and second levels. All right, so that's really, really cool. And I think a bigger Falcon, you're going to see him go more vertical at that point, and you're not going to get it's not going to be as visually impressive.
Do the Saudis over there in the Middle East, do they use them for sport?
Yeah.
I've seen something like that, right? What's the sport? Like, I mean, I don't know what's.
So it's falconry, like what we were talking about. Like originally, this is about hunting and killing quarry, right? Mm-hmm. So you're, instead of hunting with, let's say, our long guns, right? We're hunting with hawks and falcons. So they're going out. They'll go rent like a 747. I'm sure they own it. They get the 747. They fly up to Pakistan, and they're going to hunt grouse over there, right? And they literally, so you go look at the picture of them, and they're sitting on top of the headrest, kind of how Tex was sitting in. Sorry, I got two Harris Hawks. Bond was sitting in the front seat, all right, and just chilling, hanging out there. And that's what they're doing. They all have their little hoods on. They're all tethered there, and they're just hanging out. And they're going to take off and land and go hunt and come back. So another big thing, they have a big competition every year where there's a bunch of different events. So it's like top speed horizontally, right? They have lure flying competitions as well. So something like what my dad's really, really good at. So you see when Ollie, if you go look at the footage, like I post a lot of like the slow-mo stuff because I sit right there on training days, you'll see her extending her feet out trying to grab it, and she's within a foot of the lure. That's perfection. And she's able, and it's really impressive that she's able to carry so much speed through that. And that's kind of like that timing and that consistency that my dad has, that I'm still working on, because I'm still not quite there, because Ollie has some tricks up her sleeves. So yes, I've been doing it for actively 30 years, right? There's still little nuances, little tricks where I'm not as good. Like I'm, 2-3 feet away. She kind of half hearts, put her feet out, but like we're trying to get it to where like 6 inches is the goal, where she's fully extended, stretching out, trying to catch and kill her quarry, and then just doing that game of keep away. And you can actually manipulate the flight of the bird too by how you pull that lure away. So if you want something more vertical, you pull it straight down. I want something more wide, I take a step back, and it's really opening it up. So we can, because we're constantly trying to figure out how to, in real time, like have her cover the entire stadium too. So it's like the north end, she gives a lot of love to the north end and the northeast side of it. That's just her thing. So how do we manipulate the flight pattern for her to cover the whole stadium, and the south end gets some love too?
They got to get louder in the south end if they want more love, though. It's kind of hard to compete with the 32, 52.
Hey, you know what's something funny me and him always say, because we're fucking assholes and we always think we're funny? When it's flying around, we've always been like, man, one day you're just going to pick a kid's eye.
I have insurance.
And we're always like, yo, that would be crazy.
Maybe if it was that angry bird that he said, like I was like the one day he said just mad at everything.
Yeah, because I mean we don't know how the birds are, but one time like, well, what if I just go like this with like its favorite food?
It has to be.
And
focused.
it just comes straight to me.
No, that's the thing with all. That's why we train. It's like, because that's something like PETA has done with falconers and other animal activist groups have done. Is they'll get like squab on a string and get a pigeon, swing it around, and the bird's going to come land down and grab it. And what they do is they'll grab the bird, take all the stuff off of them, let him eat up, and cut him loose. Like I've seen that. Or, no, I shouldn't say I've seen it. I've heard that happen to other falconers.
Wow.
That's shady, man. It's like, damn, man, the birds are good.
But that's their mindset, and like I mean, they have conviction. I can't fault them for that. Like they're going all out to do what they believe in, right? And that's unfortunately the way it is. Like we have different perspectives on it.
I mean, they've got ham. You've seen the videos where they'll go into like chicken places and they're chain themselves up to the machine and they don't stop the machine.
How about the machine got turned on? You saw that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to laugh, but I'm just like, that's karma. Like,
Yeah.
if when I do stupid stuff or like I fall off the side of a building or something like that, like I'm laughing at myself for being an idiot. The bird flew up in the tree. Like that was my fault for being an idiot, and I laughed at myself.
Now in captivity, like how you have these like what's the life expectancy for something like this? Like
20, 25 years for.
oh
like,
wow,
the
they
Harris
live a
hawk.
long time.
Yeah, so that bird could live. They live in desert, the zoo near me. They just had their oldest male Harris hawk pass away at 38 years old.
Wow.
And what ended up killing him was the stress of putting him inside. We got avian influenza, avian herpes. We have the West Nile.
Does have herpes.
Say what?
I was like, damn, they even have herpes.
Yeah, and it's not from the sheep, so I couldn't tell you.
So they put him inside, and that's what, and the stress.
And the stress of moving him from outside to inside, because right now in the desert, like covered in the flies 24/7, like all the birds have a fan directly on them to keep the air moving past them.
The flies don't get
So-
on them, yeah.
Well, the mosquitoes.
The
Again,
mosquitoes, yeah.
The barcode mosquitoes, we'll say.
The bill mosquitoes.
Dude, I'll show you a picture later. I was working on my truck the other day. I had over 100 bites on my left leg.
Damn, man,
Like-
you must have some immunity, man.
Dude, no, I was kidding. It was all welted up and it was like this. It looked like I had the chicken pox.
Yeah, you have a lot of those. It's like, man, that's some immunity you're building up, man. Because trust, man, like you ever see like those? I was watching a video on those. What do you call those species of? No, those tribes, bro, of people that are just on
Species.
the radar. Yeah, well, like the different of the just under the radar, and like the governments don't fuck with them.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just
yeah.
let them be.
Like the indigenous tribes and stuff like that with
Yeah.
like minimal contact, like down in like the Amazon. You're talking
Yeah,
about like that
like-
type of stuff?
Yeah, there's a grip of them all over the world, bro. There's like a lot of people live under the radar in these tribes, and
They killed some guy. Some
Yeah.
guy went in there and tried to teach him Christianity, and
That
they
happens all the
fucking
time.
murdered him. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
hey, bro, and these motherfuckers, like they're out there like not with clothes and everything, and best believe they're getting bit by exotic mosquitoes with
They're
it.
gonna survive.
Yeah.
They're gonna live longer than we are.
You heard the human theory of evolution, right? That like these people are the ones that survived like the apocalypse, and they see in the rise and fall of all these different times, right? And over the eons and millennia, like these guys keep seeing it, so they see all these the airplanes are gods and stuff like this, and there's depictions of all this crazy stuff, and the stuff is passed down through generation through generation through oral tradition. So, and people are speculating that like the world has ended many times over. Humans, we get to a certain point, we self-destruct, and then rinse and repeat.
Somebody starts some beef, they blow it up, then we got to start all over again.
Oh, like right now?
Bro.
It's fucking crazy, dude. I don't even.
Yeah, let's,
You want to get into that?
Yeah, no, I was like, I don't want to.
I was like,
If you want to go there, I'll go there with you.
for a second, I was like, I even feel like even for your podcast, the Tinfoil High podcast, I was like, you guys are gonna stay away for 2 weeks and then be like, and then we can talk about it, because it's just such a volatile temperature. But so you have 6 right now, right? Six birds. Is that the cap?
Really, for what we need and to give them the most time and attention, yeah. That's kind of where we're happy with. Like, we have our business stuff covered. We have redundancy. We have Ollie. We have Ollie's backup. Like, we've got our personal hawks and falcons. Like, we have all our bases covered, and we feel good at that. And any more would detract from the attention these ones are getting. So if I was able to like bring on another employee and I had other job opportunities, then I would talk about getting another bird or 2. That'd be the absolute max.
Is there like a bird that like you're like, let's say certain falconers or hawk guys are not supposed to have? Like, let's just say, hey, bro, like, how'd you even get this? Like, have you ever, like, not saying shout them out or anything, but I'm saying, like, have you ever come across, you're like, damn, bro, you're not even supposed to have this bird. What the hell?
Yeah, there's all right. So
Like, you meet somebody that has a tiger.
Yeah, there's this one species. It's a male Siberian goshawk, right? Extremely rare to get your hands on it, because you're going out to like the very north of South Korea in the wintertime. You might get lucky and see them there. You're going up north Siberia, then you've got like the logistics, like importing all this stuff. Like, you're gonna spend to import. Let's say you go trap one, right, and try to import it. It's almost impossible. So something that Clinton did, I think it was 94, where they banned the import of all, exotic animals into the U.S. So tigers, lions, so Ollie, she's a red-naped Shaheen. So she was some of the last genetic bloodlines that came over here before that went into play. So if you look at it was to protect the wildlife and not have it be exploited. But at the same time, what's happened is now we have lots of interbreeding and no one was really careful, especially with like the lions and tigers and stuff like that. Most of them are inbred and retarded. No, I don't, and that's not, and it's like that. They're retarded, like mentally retarded. It's like, like my cousin's having kids or something like that. So I'm sure I have some family like that too. Arkansas, dude.
Right?
Like so,
Banks. Go look at Banks,
he
Arkansas.
did say half Regnick.
Yeah, like,
he did say that.
Yeah, on my mom's side, and we joke around. It's like, thank God I got my dad's to look like. We go to the family reunion. I love my family, and some of them are just like, damn, so glad I don't look like you.
So you say falcons, you say hawks. You haven't mentioned the American animal, the eagle. Can you train an eagle? Are they trained?
Yeah, that was
an
it's
eagle?
great that you bring that up. I was like, I know I lost the question in here. I was like, let me let it come back.
You can train eagles. So they're a semi-gregarious species. So semi-social, right? Mm-hmm. So you get weird social hierarchy and aggression. So you have to be absolutely perfect when it comes to dealing with eagles. And personally, I don't care for the American eagle as a falconry bird, because if I'm doing something like that, I'm trained to do what nature intended to do, and that is to be hunt, catch, and kill, right?
Okay. That's
what that animal is designed to do. And out of like the two major ones we have are the golden eagle and the bald eagle. Like the golden eagle is in my opinion, a far superior hunter. Far
That's
more
the Mexican
aggressive.
one?
And see, America just got me thinking. I thought the bald eagle was like the most fucking gangster one.
It's just bigger, right?
They're all around the same size. I mean, you look at them; they're like the size of a toddler.
Yeah.
Like that's 9 pounds.
Damn.
That's
Yeah.
Waist high.
Compared to Ollie, what he said, a pound and what?
Yeah, like 1.3 pounds.
Yeah. No, hell no. 9-pound bird, dude. It rip your face off.
Yeah, their talons are bigger than my fingers. Like the black parts that stick out, like literally they're knives like this long. I'm like, I have the proper amount of holes in my face. Like I'm good. Like I have a buddy. He's an old man. He's a good old boy, right? Up in Montana. Made a mistake one day, and his golden eagle, big old nasty female, grabbed him in the face, grabbed him, and within a quarter second, like pulled the skin off the muscle. So this whole face, for lack of, it looked like he had like a stroke. Like his face just kind of like went limp over on the side because it pulled all the muscle off. And it was just a quick hit, right? Nothing crazy. Wasn't trying to hurt him or anything like that. He's doing something. They were hunting deer. He got in there, went to dispatch the deer. Something happened. He got grabbed in the face. Again, this is a good old boy, right? So what does he do? He doesn't freak out or anything. Gets his bird, throws him in the back of the truck on the carcass, drives the truck back into the barn. But her free flight chamber is a freaking, big old like red barn, right? So then he goes, takes care of all his other animals, goes to the ER, forgets to check in. And mind you, his face has 4 massive holes in it right now, and it's like drooping. And he sits there for like 6 hours before he goes up and asks the lady when he's going to get called in.
Wow.
So I'm like, no eagles for me.
Yeah.
When I'm old, ugly, and retired, maybe.
So
that sound bro. That sounds like a way more aggressive bird.
Oh yeah.
Terrifying.
No, I don't think it's more aggressive. It's just the power. It's like I tell you love cats, but if that cat
was bigger than me,
I
think I'd be.
That little scratch he gave
like the one I got at home. Like I would just be like, I'd be terrified if he was like bigger than me.
Dogs could be huge, and they don't do that to you. Like there's some dogs that could technically kill you. And they're super nice, like greyhounds and stuff. I don't know.
I don't know how you see.
I'm on the side with you with cats. I don't really fuck with cats. I think they'll eat you alive.
They will. It's been proven.
Yeah. Scary,
not like they will eat you alive, but like if you're dead,
like, they would eat your corpse to sustain themselves. That's how much they like you.
They're the first ones to do it. Like a dog will literally starve itself and be like almost dying, and will not do it, and see the cat eat you and just be like, I ain't stooping that low. Like,
all right, so who's the smarter one of the two then? At that point,
the cat. It's a smarter hunter.
It's loyalty. Would you eat your kid?
But he said,
would you eat your kid?
He said, who's the smarter one?
Your kid, your dad dies. Are you eating him?
He
the
said,
smarter is to eat him because you survive. But that's loyalty.
Donner party.
See?
Like they're eating each other. Like
but that's
the whole time.
different
Like
because
they're
you don't
dead.
know that person.
It's death.
It's a bit like you're moving in a big old caravan. Like you know each other. Like if we're cruising down the street, like
but we're gonna die if we don't eat each other. I'm sorry, Xavier. I'm gonna eat you, dog.
I know you would.
I
know you would, dude.
I might eat something that I
and I'm
can.
You're gonna
glad-
use like
and
the
I-
bones, like as a toothpick. There's nothing there.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't use.
Bro,
Yeah. See, on the
like,
other
they-
hand, me and you are eating you. Dude.
Oh yeah, if I would probably
I-
more
I
likely
could-
be like, look, dude, just let me die so you guys can live.
He is like the marbling and everything like that. It'll be nice and tender. Like it's
like a
I'm all-
brisket.
I'm all tough.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Be all fucking it's all tough, dude. You don't have any meat on you. You
gotta slow
you
cook
could
that.
actually benefit from eating me. You'd get normal size, and then you'd look like him.
So I gotta ask you about another bird. What about
Go.
vultures?
Vultures are super cool. So one
Those
of
are
my
the
favorite,
like
those
big
are-
black ones with the bald,
The
and
ones,
the long
yeah.
necks.
Yeah, like when you see
In the
those, you
Disney
know there's
movies,
something
right?
dead. Yeah, you know there's
yeah. So
something
that's
died.
like the turkey vulture, right?
Yeah.
So vultures are actually super sweet. One of the like you
Wow.
can go get like a haggard older one, and out of the wild, and they tame down really really nicely. And it was really cool. It unfortunately got rejected, but my dad did a white paper about the olfactory sensitivity and bomb detection and how it was exponentially better than dogs.
And that got rejected? That sounds pretty legit.
It was there was a dumb study somebody did was a Pavlovian response. So what they did originally is they went through, they looked at the total length of like the olfactory, like all the little curves and everything that goes on, and all the sensors there, right?
Yeah.
And all the nerves take in the smell. So, and then this group of scientists, I'm gonna put that in air quotes because it's a garbage study, put little receptors in the brain for salivation, right? And then so the bird would smell something and it would salivate. So there's association that was there, right? But it's really really flawed because it doesn't, because they were doing it and you really can't parse out the parts per billion. If you go look at like the when they're circling like a carcass, because they're not eating like we think they're eating rotted meat and old stuff like that. No, it's fresh kills. Like this is fresh roadkill stuff like that, and they're kind of like the Hoover vacuum of the environment. Like they clean everything
their
up.
acid in their stomach, it devours anything like bones and everything. It's crazy how much
That's
their
why
stomach
these.
can produce. Yeah.
That's why, like, throughout movies and all that stuff, like, they've always put them by the highways because these fools know they're like, hey, like, there's this big machine that runs over things sometime.
Yeah, no, it's
Like-
real.
like-
Like you see, like the red tails, like the smart birds of prey will do that. Like in the movies, they'll do that because it's like a natural barrier. So in real life, you see the red tails when you're driving down. Let's say there's one right at the 91 405. I think it's right there on that intersection. There's been for years. There's this one single melanistic dark-faced female that I always see there, and she's looking literally 5-10 miles down the road for any sort of incursion to go investigate, to go hunt. Because that's a natural break in the environment, so they can exploit that.
You know where I've seen them, and they fly around, because or it's like near where I stay. We read about conservation in Nevada. You run into them like when you start getting out of like the city right there where the hotel's at, and you start heading towards the park. You'll see them early in the morning, and they're just like they know where the roads are at, bro. And it's like I remember one of the people that tell you, one of the hosts, they'll tell you like, yeah, it's like you have a great view and you can just check it out. I remember waking up in the morning, I was like, that's too big to be a crow, and that motherfucker was the vulture. It's just flying around like a Western movie, bro. Like this is crazy because it's. I don't even think. I feel like the desert is very much like the ocean to certain extents, bro. Because we can say it's like, yeah, we've driven to every part of the desert, but like, have you ever been there all year round to really know how to get down is? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things you could be like, yeah, there's that animal there, bro. But like, have you been there to see the animal that rarely comes out? There's probably some shit out there that we don't even know about. And what about the animals that are boning?
All the time. All right, we discover new animals all the time. Like there was the monkey that was just discovered like 6 months ago. As the only one. So there's the God, I forget, Joe Rogan had him on his show, but he's a naturalist and discovered what was thought was an extinct tortoise from that went extinct over 100 years ago.
Damn.
But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Like the desert is very much alive. Like we look at it and our eyes are ignorant, but it's a whole thriving ecosystem. And that's something I don't know if you saw my Instagram story. Like I was driving in town and it looks like fog. That's all the sand and everything. So when Hurricane Hillary came through, it ripped off a bunch of the topsoil in my area. So every day it looks like there's a sandstorm now. So I don't know if how long it's going to take for the desert to actually recover from that.
Can you help me explain this to him? You know how help me with this one.
Yeah, well, I was like,
you'll know
Xavier.
why. Because you know how we said how we're still finding new species of animals. He still think there's a megalodon in the ocean.
There is. There can be.
He's still the big one. I'm not talking a bigger great white. He's talking the megalodon.
Meg. Yeah, Meg. That's actually the first. That funny. That reminds me. That was the first book I ever read was named Meg, and that was like third grade. My first like real novel. I think that was the last novel I read too. After that, I learned Cliff Notes. Anyways, it's totally feasible. I mean,
I thought you were gonna help me with
no.
this.
All right. All right. Let me say this. Have we checked every square inch of that ocean?
No.
All right, so how can we say definitively that this isn't possible?
Because the reason, here's why. Because you guys keep saying it's got to be at the bottom of the ocean.
No,
technically. I mean, well,
that's the theory is like that came from the book though. Like literally, that was a really famous book.
Okay, then if it lives at the top of the ocean, that means it's got to eat enough to survive. And what is it eating?
It would be eating larger mammals. It could be eating squid. It could be eating. All right, so how far down does a sperm whale dive? What does it's like 3,000 feet, 5,000 feet that it's going down to, right? And it's eating giant squid. You know, the only giant squid we've ever seen is from what they've killed.
They can dive down to 7,382 feet.
And then also too, Xavier,
7,000, okay.
think about this. Like, what if it's somewhere where where this motherfucker knows people can't go? Like, what if it's swimming around the ice wall?
All right, easy.
Like, what if it's swimming around the ice wall?
It's not curious. It's going to go wherever the food is. If it's real, it's going to be eating, something huge like that. Like there's a lot of species like we know absolutely nothing about in the depths of the ocean. So I can't say definitively beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's not real.
All right.
Do I think it's improbable? Yes.
All right. So we're in that world. So I know you're into this stuff kind of because you can't tell me no. Bigfoot or megalodon? Which one has a bigger chance of it being real if you had to pick? Meg over Bigfoot?
All right.
Wow.
All right. Let's think about it. Where's Bigfoot at? Northwest.
Well, no.
Any
Sasquatch. I'm talking anywhere in the world. I can talk in whatever they call Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
There's Asian Sasquatch, snow Sasquatch. There's like African Sasquatch. Supposed to be fucking.
He could be interdimensional.
Honestly, I think it's just like one of my cousins with a really hairy back walking around without a t-shirt on. Bro, I got a cashmere sweater on year round. All right, and I'm telling you, it's one of the back hairs. Like, look from the back, I look exactly like Sasquatch's little sister.
So you listen to Rogan? Do you go down the rabbit hole, the conspiracy rabbit hole, a little bit here and there?
I mean, it's worth entertaining because now, like, everybody jokes around that what's his face? I can't believe the crazy conspiracy guy
Alex
thing.
Jones.
Alex Jones, thank you.
That shit was so funny when he had paper.
But like, people are putting jars up, and Alex Jones was right jars. Like, dude's becoming more and more right as time goes on. I don't think there's lizard people, but
because he says it dumb, like when he says the water's turning the frogs gay. That sounds crazy, but technically, if the water is making the water's making us a lot more feminine because it has hormones in it. That it's not on purpose, or we think it's not on purpose.
No, I honestly think I'd rather attribute to ignorance versus malice.
Yeah, ignorance. We don't know.
So
it's like Teflon. We didn't know Teflon was so bad for us. It was just a great product at the moment. Like, nothing sticks.
Yeah, forever plastic, microplastics, like those are all real stuff, and they are endocrine disruptors. Like that's a very real, well documented thing that we're trying to grapple with now. And this is all in the last generation and a half. Like we have no idea how this is going to affect us. We don't really know why. There's theories why testosterone is dropping in men generation over generation, and they do think it's because of the endocrine disruptors inside the microplastics. So there's actually some really cool studies that people have done in that sphere.
Yeah, your taint's getting smaller.
That's exactly it. So
gotta get TRT.
Gotta get TRT.
Straight up, get like Bart's.
Yeah. No, that's.
I mean, if we're ingesting all this, if we're like ingesting all this microplastic, right, quote unquote, then we better start ingesting some TRT, bro. I'm just saying, gotta balance it out.
Get some trend going in there.
Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Get some Anavar.
Straight up, bro.
Dude,
like,
I want to look like Ronnie Coleman. Did you see that, dude?
I kind of, I would be cool with like half a neck. You know what I'm saying? Like if it meant coming up with that body. But like, I don't know. I feel like I just need like 10 minutes to ask Rogan and be like, dude, what do you take every day?
He tells you.
Bro, but there's
carnivore diet and everything on Alpha
He
Brain.
probably has that shit that like he probably has a little experimental medicinal jar where it's just like, my friend, he's a scientist.
Have you heard the Wolverine protocol? I think it's like a B156 or something like that. So we're seeing a lot of Look it up. Look it up really quick. It's Wolverine protocol. So you're able to take these peptides that affect our hormones in different ways that helps. So that's like one that helps with like muscle recovery, stuff like that.
Wolverine what?
Wolverine protocol. I think it's like B156.
Yo, can we bust out Bond?
Yeah.
BPC 157.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
And that's what you.
The Wolverine protocol. Mm-hmm. So it's to help with muscle recovery and stuff like that. So there's stuff like you can take like that. That's perfectly legal. Doesn't have any long residuals. Like you see Conor McGregor, like he looks like freaking Dumbo now, right, with his ears.
Yeah.
And that's like that's HGH type of stuff. So he pulled himself out of like the testing pool, and heavy HCG, HGH, and some other stuff as well too. Because when you take that stuff, you have to worry about the negative effects of it.
It's like Ozempic. All the people, you'll lose weight, but your stomach is paralyzed. Like over time.
Oh, dude, like the Metcalf or whatever they call it stuff now, the diabetes medication.
Yeah, Ozempic.
Like, bro, so I can't like.
Yeah.
I called the doctor and they told me it's like, yo, we can give it to you, but it's just to see what's up. And I was like, fool, you haven't even done a physical on me. They're just like it's okay.
They're making bank out of all that stuff.
Yeah,
getting all the referrals and stuff like that. Like, I feel like this is like the Vicodin 2.0 type of stuff going on now, that they're just pushing everything to pharmaceuticals. Because a lot of the medical schools are paid by pharmaceuticals, and it's supplemented. You're still paying $250,000 to go to medical school, but it's also being subsidized as well too by these pharmaceuticals. Like it's sick care, like everybody it's sick care and not health care. So how can we get your nutrition better? How can we get the micronutrients you need? How do we fix your your deficiencies on it? Let's look at your blood work. Let's say you have a vitamin E deficiencies. Okay, like how can we upregulate the genes that we need to, right? All right, let's say you have a lower VO2. Let's get some, NOS or something like that. So nitrous oxide, some sort of supplement like that. Beet juice doesn't really work. But there's so many different things that we can do from a, more holistic point before we jump straight to medication. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like drugs. Drugs are good, right? I mean, they literally keep us alive. Like, I have medication that I'd be in a horrible place without it, right? And I appreciate it, but still looking at what can I do naturally? How can I look at this stuff? And when I'm like, all right, when we started talking to my endocrinologist about peptides and stuff like this, how do I bring myself up? Because I got like really, really sick. Like we thought like a couple years ago I was going to die. Damn. Straight up. Like I was falling over myself. I couldn't treat. This is like 2020, 2021. I was literally falling over myself and we couldn't figure out what was going on. And we got the whole thing sorted out eventually, but it was like this really stressful, scary time. And it was not for modern medicine. I don't know what would have happened.
And a lot of things. I mean,
no, straight up, that's the same reason why I'll get both sides of the coin, bro. Like I have a holistic doctor and then I have a Western medicine doctor because I'm not gonna trust my holistic doctor with surgery. Yeah, you know what I mean? No offense, but it's just like if I gotta get a tumor removed, I'm just gonna go to Good Samaritan Hospital here and be like, listen, bro, anesthesia, this bed and this nurse and all this shit. I need all this right now. This whole eating turmeric and shit is not gonna help me right now.
Saying you're missing one more, a nutrologist, someone like to teach you how to eat. Neither of those people learn anything about like the diet. Like the doctor just learned basics, and your holistic doctor. Like, you need to know your diet. Like, what is your diet?
Yeah. So now let's talk about the cancer stuff, right? So the 3D structure of the mitochondria is supposed to be a deficient, and it's supposed to be a really high in sugar. So you can use neither sugar or you can use fat for energy in your system, right? And basically, if you go into sugar deficit and you get into God, I just forgot the word. I'm struggling this morning.
No, you were not. We didn't even like blaze it that much because we're like we wanted.
I
know. I was like we held back because we're like we just like obviously because of Bond over there.
But and also, dude, if I take one hit, like I'm asleep. It could be sativa in like 5 minutes. I'm
for sure. Like I know if it would have been regular protocol, you would have for sure been feeling it. You would have been Tony Hawk, like which is like a term we have here because we interviewed Tony Hawk and the Dr. Greentham show. And he left blitz. Like he told us, he's like, "Yo, you guys made me stop at McDonald's the moment I left here." Like, cause like he ate some good. Could you show? Hold on, I want to see. Can we show the bird though?
I want to know where he was going with this. Are you going with sugar promotes cancer, right?
No, it does not necessarily promote. Like your body can either use sugar or it can use fats as an energy source on it, right? So, the idea is that I'm stalling because I'm trying to think of the word. I forgot what it is. Come on, help me out here.
What's the word? Keto?
Keto, thank you. So when you go in an actual ketosis, like you're using fat. Like you can get the urine strips, and then you can actually see your ketones level, right?
It takes a lot. Well, it takes a while to get to keto.
You're talking about like a 2 to 3 day fast for it, and you're talking if you eat, because protein can get broken down in carbohydrates, no problem too. So if you eat too much protein on it, like there's a whole bunch of things. But another interesting study, like this guy was studying people that were going through like chemo, and he put half of them into ketosis, the other half was on their normal diets, and there was a lot of really good benefits that we saw: less nausea, less pain, faster recovery on being in ketosis.
Yeah, it's all that inflammation, all that bread shit you eat. That's glucose and shit. It's not good for your body, especially if you're literally going through cancer. I'm sure your body's like, I don't want to deal with that right now.
Fools be thinking that like, oh man, I just won't eat for the day. Like you're not. It's like it takes 2 to 3 days for your body to start eating everything that your fat ass stored up in there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you straight up, bro. Like your stomach's just gonna hurt for like the first day and a half. That's because all that fucking shit you put in there is coming out, and then the other day and a half is for like your body, like, well, time to start storing this hamburger from like, time to start burning this burger from like 1994 that we stored here, thinking because your fat ass wouldn't stop eating.
And here's a fun fact too. So if let's say that you're obese, right, and you're a heavy smoker, and you start losing weight, like let's say you completely quit smoking, right? Let's say you're losing weight, you're getting healthy, you're not smoking anymore. You're still gonna piss hot for THC because it's stored up in your fat. Like that's when we make butter. That's why we use that,
and
right?
Then he ends up eating it, which is even worse because if you eat it, it sticks to your fatty cells. It's literally you're eating it.
Oh, I already know.
I know you're not. I know you're pissing hot when you die.
No,
Jesus is gonna give you a drug test and you're still gonna piss hot, dude.
Dude, Xavier, if I carry around all these fucking capsules, bro. So it's like, and I know I'm ingesting this amount of oil just because it takes a high caliber for me to get that high. So it's like, I know for a fact, bro, like there's no way in hell, like if somebody were to be like, hey, there's a drug test coming up, I'd be like, well, I'm gonna just tell you right now. I don't know, my main thing is like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna be pissing hot. Oh damn, this is legit right here, yo. This is the full.
We'll see how he does in here.
Oh yeah, Xavier, no sudden noises.
No.
Okay.
He's not gonna eat you.
We're good.
I thought he was coming for me, dude. I was scared.
He's not an eagle.
You see me just back up, bro? I was like, no, I already had my encounters with you.
I have insurance. We're good.
See, we're good.
All right.
Can you give me citizenship? I'm winning 11 to bite me.
Dude, Xavier, you need to worry about finding a bird that can fly you over the border. Like, for real, bro. You need to get yourself a bird that can fly over the border for sure for you, dog.
So how much does it weigh?
He's about, what were you, 565 this morning. So 565 grams this morning, 1.23 pounds, so roughly.
Dude, it looks like it weighs more than 2-3 pounds, obviously.
Do they have the ability to do this with their eyebrows? Because sometimes I feel like a bird is like mad dogging you, like you know what I mean?
That's the resting hawk face.
Oh, okay.
Straight up, like let me turn him around so we can get him on the camera. See if you can zoom in on with that camera right there. That one? All right. So you can see, so they have this brow over their eyeballs, right? And this is to protect their eyes.
Oh, the glare.
So it's this. So yes, it's like a sunshade, like having your hat on or something like that, right? That's part of it. But also when he's on his quarry, because think about it. Let's say you're a mouse, like you don't want to get eaten. You're going to be kicking, scratching, clawing to get away. So he's using that to protect his eyeballs. The other cool thing how he protects his eyeballs, since we're going doing full circle back to the bird, because actually one of the first things I said, I wanted to talk about his eyeballs because I thought that's like the coolest part to me. If you look at his eyeballs, when I touch, you see this.
You're like I've never seen that done. Like actually without the mask, you can actually touch the bird. That's wild.
He's like my puppy dog with feathers. Like I can literally, doesn't like it, he'll tolerate it, like a moody teenager. So I think I'll just like hold him right here. But so they have what's called nictine membrane. So we have our 2 eyelids, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how you get the sleepies in the morning right here in the corner of it? So that's supposed to be like the part of our nictine membrane, the remnants of it. Because there was, I believe, 7 different Homo erectus species that were on the earth at the same time. So if you go go look at like Norwegian DNA, it's like 3% Neanderthal. Nature
just took a shit.
Shit happens. I got dad jokes for days. I don't have kids, but I got dad jokes.
So,
for days.
the eyeballs. Let's go to the eyeballs. I want to know what's because I want to know.
All right, so they got that nictitating membrane. So this milky white film protects their eyeballs when they're close on it. So if you look really close to his face, you'll actually see it looks like whiskers, right? And that's the feathers. You see it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like soft, like like
whiskers on
almost
your
like
cat.
the eyelash version for a bird.
Yeah, and so they're touched, and then they'll use that to cover their eyes, and it's the milky white film. So all predators have that. Humans, we have the remnants of ours. We have, dogs, cats, alligators, sharks. Like, you ever see sharks and they blink and you can see their eye still? That's a nictitating membrane. It's all the same thing. So, and the other thing, these guys have binocular vision too. So their eyes are fixated straight forward. So if I want to turn and see you, I have to move my whole head like this.
Bird's like him when he's doing this whole thing right now. He's like mad dogging everybody right now. He's just like analyzing the room. Huh? He's like, I could go here, I could go there, I can go there.
When you look at my finger, what you just did in like literally 2 milliseconds, you looked at my finger, you looked all the way around the room, you came back, you got a field of depth. So when he's bobbing his head, moving around, he's getting a field of depth because his eyeballs actually don't move. So one eyeball is bigger and heavier than his whole brain, and with that said, like the muscles can't move those eyeballs around, so he has binocular vision fixed straight forward. So if he wants to figure out what's going on, he's doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see Ollie like the pre-game flight. She'll do a little poop and then she'll bob her head a couple times and then go.
Now, do these birds like I know they've been doing it for like a long ass time, but some like Mexican foods have been fighting roosters for a long time. Do these birds get down like that, or is that like a natural trait in birds, like, or do you have to train a bird to get down with each other like that?
No, it's all about natural resources. So when we talk about like cockfighting, that's their natural instinct that they're exploiting for that sport, and like the razor stuff they add on to that, later on for that's the point of purpose. But the initial behavior is all built into them. So there's no real training for that. Something like in that sense.
Well, it's like a hound or like a lab. Like if you've seen a lab, you can throw a ball at a Labrador and it brings it right back to you. You can throw a Chihuahua. They don't know what the fuck to do with are
you throwing the Chihuahua or are you throwing the ball to the Chihuahua?
Both.
All right, I prefer the former over the latter.
But sorry, yeah, it's in them. It's like basset hounds, aren't they like super good at like receiving things when you shoot?
There's the genetic predisposition to it, all right, and like what they thrive at, what they go to is like some guys are really working with their hands, other guys are just considering on the computer. It's what we're wired towards, and then we build on top of that, and like through years of selective breeding, and you can get these really cool personalities and traits out of them.
Have you ever been bit by him?
If I bleed, it's usually my own stupidity. And it's their talent.
You sound like the rattlesnake church guys. It's like if a snake bites me, it's like
I'm an idiot. Like straight up, like it's me making a failure. It's usually around food, right? So let's say this happened to me last week. I was an idiot. I was in a rush, and he's out in his little weathering area, and I toss him food, right?
Right.
And so I toss the food. He missed it. He can't see it. It's underneath the purse. I go pick it up, and my hand's in the way, and he grabs it when he sees it, and I cussed, I hollered, and I screamed bloody murder, and I wanted to strangle my bird. But it was me being an idiot. I was lazy.
Yeah.
I was in a rush. I had to get going. So it's like, all right, let me just throw food at him.
And how long did that, like, how bad was the cut?
Well, it's not so much the cut on it. It's actually like these pinpricks. So you got the talons, and they're trimmed right now. I don't know if you can be able to see that, but, like, it's still really sharp.
It looks really sharp.
And that will go down to the bone.
Damn, bro. That's like dental tools.
You said there. Is there any genetic breeding or how you guys breed these to be specific? You just said we do that with dogs. We try to make them smaller, obviously.
But make the exotic. Like,
the hybrids. Like we talked about the white one. So that's a 7/8 Gyr Saker. So 7/8 of it's a Saker falcon, and 1/8 of it's a Gyr falcon. And through selective breeding, they got that coloration. So they do that, but at the end of the day, we still want them to be as wild as possible because that's what's going to make a good hunting bird. And if a bird can't hunt, then it's a trash bird. Like a Chihuahua is I call it a trash dog. Yeah. Not because it's small or cute or anything like that. Well, it's not. But
can't do what it was meant to do.
Yeah.
Can't live on its own.
That's that's why I love like German Shepherds. I love Malinois. I love Rotties. Like those are some of my favorite breeds because at the end of the day they're all working dogs, and I can use them to protect myself, and I take them out hunting. So I'll take like my bird out, and him and my older dog actually go out and we hunt together.
Wow, that's so dope.
What kind of dog do you have?
So I got 3 Malinois. So German Shepherd on meth, right? Amazing dog, never get one.
All right.
Straight
They're
up.
tough. Yeah.
That's what people say like about Akitas and shit, like chewable Akitas. Like,
All right, Akita, let's put that on the intensity scale of a 6.
Okay. Oh damn.
All right, now let's get a working line Malinois, and they're terrifying.
Damn, that's
And-
wild. I never even heard of that. I'm gonna look them up right now. But that's
It's a smaller, healthier German Shepherd on meth. So the militaries are all switching over to it because it's easier to move around. Like the 55-pound females, you literally throw it over your shoulder. Like they call them fur missiles. Like people deploy and have them like attached to their back and stuff like that, and they're parachuting with them. Special forces love them.
like some John Wick shit.
I never thought I'd say
Yeah.
this, but you.
In John Wick 3, I think it was with Holly Berry, right?
Yeah.
She had 2 Malinois, and because of that, like everybody in the community, we saw that, and we just all groaned because we're going to see a bunch of rescues full of them. So 2 of the 3 Malinois I have are actually rescue projects.
Oh wow.
So, and I'm working, and so I rehab them, and I try to take in 1 dog at a time. I got 2 dogs that I didn't expect to have, and I train them, and I rehome them. So people get them because they look like cute little German shepherds, right? And they don't realize how intense they are.
Do these guys like? Have they ever brought something to you like where you're like, this fool brought a rattlesnake back to me? Like
I've yet to deal with the rattlesnake. So these guys, when we're out hunting with them, let's say I've got my older dog's a Shepherd Lab mix. He has a body count and a half. He's an awesome hunting dog. He use them for retrieving, use them for hunting with these guys, and they feed off each other. So literally, he'll jump in a bush, look at the bird. Jump in another bush, look at the bird, and wait for the bird to react. And then it's like, okay, I'll follow the bird. They figure out what we're hunting. All right? So, and then he kicks it in 6th gear. Then they're hunting cooperatively. And, my fat ass is like chugging behind him, coughing as I'm trying to keep up with them. So I actually recently just bought a golf cart because that's what we do out in Palm Springs is drive golf carts every round. Yeah. So you see my ass driving around my golf cart behind as my bird and my dog are hunting.
Dude, I never thought I'd say this, but my English bulldog is useless.
Yeah, I told you that.
Useless. Like this guy's using his 2 animals. It's like a tribe.
Dude, any animal that can't fuck
so
on its own.
How do they give birth?
Yeah, I know. That's why it costs a lot of money.
How do they give birth? Everybody
C-section.
knows. Yeah.
They need a C-section. Because the head's too big for her vagina.
Yeah, dude, it's
for the bitch's vagina. Literally.
Any animal.
Yeah.
If you need help to reproduce, bro, like you're not gonna be a sufficient species to the animal.
So if my wife needs
going
a
back
C-section,
to you and your TRT.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could go down to Brazil and get these MMA herbs they use down there and use the natural way, but Brazil's dangerous. I'd rather just Western medicine.
There's no herbs. It's straight up like cocaine mixed with other stuff in there. No, there's nothing special. It's illegal drugs mixed in with some growth hormones in a powder form. Like you get some HCG in there.
My body would know, bro. Like if I get TRT and then I get the same feeling I used to get, like when I used to do coke, and then like I'll be like,
how that feels.
Like I'll just be like, my body recognizes this feeling. I've been off this for a long time. What's going on? Like,
you're just like, God, I feel good right now. I'm just gonna go run a marathon. Like,
yeah, I'm just like way more focused. Now,
Yeah.
What is it? Do you remember your first bird?
American kestrel. That's to this day, it's my favorite bird. Like I have all these super exotics. Like I can tell you every red-naped Shaheen that's born every year in the U.S. Like I can count them on 2 hands, right?
Damn,
So
man.
we're talking like all these brothers and sisters and her cousins. That's how few of them are there, and it's considered, it's known as the king's bird.
Ollie's a celeb out of the litter, huh?
Bro, yeah.
Yeah.
They're known. Shaheens are known as the king's bird. Like they are amazing lure flying birds. So, but yeah, now you go outside, $20 in 10 minutes. I can go find a American kestrel. Small falcon, this big, and they're my favorite thing in the world because I can literally lure fly them in here, like how I do with Ollie at the stadium.
Yeah.
I can do that with a kestrel in this little room. And I grew up and I always had a kestrel free lofted around until I met my ex-wife and she put an end to that. So,
of course.
How she put
Like hence ex-wife.
Yeah.
I like we're on good terms and everything like that. It's all good. It's just we're separate. Anyways, just spending the night, and the kestrel landed in her hair. She had really long hair at the time, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Like he's wanting to go out and hunt because literally I go take him out front and we go hunt like on out front and chase like English sparrows and stuff like that. It's an invasive species, so and I take him out hunting. This is like 6-7 years ago, right? And anyways, he gets stuck in her hair and she's running around the room screaming hysterically. Me being me, I'm laughing, looking for my phone because I want to record it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she was not a fan of that and put an end to it real quick.
Yeah, you know that'll happen, dog. It's like you got to keep your animals on check sometimes, even if you don't want to, because it's like your partner's there is sometimes gonna have an issue. Like I have a snoring dog. She comes over, that dog can't sleep there. You know, I'm just like, hey, man.
So you're saying I can't spend the night at your house?
Yeah.
Dude, you see me, I normally have like that strip on. I broke my nose like 9 times. Like I can't breathe out of my nose. I'm a full-blown mouth breather.
Wait, that like 9 times?
Yeah, that I know of. So I had one fight. It's a beautiful combo. And the guy is my second to last professional MMA fight. It does a teep. So a teep's like a push kick, right? I leaned back. So I got screwed over in this matchup. I got my opponent switched on me. I was cutting weight for a 145 fight. And so I'm at 155. I'm cutting down 3 weeks before a fight. I'm like, yeah, I'll take this little, they call them tomato cans.
Yeah.
Guy had 4 fights. I get in the cage, southpaw, 6'2", 6'3", like 4% body fat. I'm like, fuck. All right. So I go and I do the fight, and, first round does a teep push kick. I set back, and I gets the range. He actually pulls my lip off right here. So pulls all this off. So does the teeps, comes down, cross hook, elbow, right? The elbow hits my nose and just flattens it out completely. And rolls it over. Beautiful Muay Thai combo. I even gave him a high five. I'm like,
Great way to fuck me up.
yeah, it's like there's a certain level of respect when it happens. And you don't feel the pain when you're in the cage. It's not because your adrenaline's going. You're so hyper-focused on what you're doing. Like, you ever see guys in the cage, like you're watching the UFC, and they feel their face and look at it?
Yeah.
They feel warmth.
I think I saw John Jones doing an interview where his toe was broken. And he did an interview when he looked down, he finally recognized, I was like, holy shit. And he points at his toe and his fucking toe's broken. He had no recollection of it happening at all.
Yeah. Toes break all the time. Hands break all the time. I mean.
You hear that?
Yeah. That.
And
Like how?
So I'm a lefty too. So my left hand is 10 times worse.
I can only do it on a minor level.
Yeah. So it's both my hands are. So the only finger that's not broken is the one I had the ring on, right?
That ring.
So yeah, it was really cool that LAFC gave me one of the rings too. Like, I didn't expect it.
I mean, you're taking over your dad's not doing it no more, right?
Yeah, he's old.
Like, I mean, your dad looks young, dude. I wouldn't say he's old. Like,
he's turning 64. Like, and this contract like is a grind, and this lifestyle is a grind too. I mean, just to come out here to do the podcast, like I was late. I left 3.5 hours early.
yeah, when you told me that, I was just like, I'm not. I was like, don't even sweat it, dude. I was like, you can come here at 11. You throw 3 hours and 3 hours and a half away, bro. Like,
Yeah, and it's just that's the thing is like we're on the road 20 hours a week coming back and forth to LA on it, and it's like we're here. I try to get to every single club supporter group that we have. Go at least do like one watch party with them, so I can bring the birds and they're incorporated and they're part of the the family, because it's a big deal.
What time do you show up to the game? If the game's at 7:30, let's say.
I'm there 4:30.
Man, you're almost as early as the 42 originals and everybody
hell
out
no,
tailgating.
No, those guys are those guys are like 3 sheets to the window by the time I get there.
dude, fucking don't be there at 10. The game's at 7:30, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I look at it like. My lady's like, look, your friends are there already. I was like, I know. I was like, don't worry, we're not going to like 4, right? Like, I just can't do that.
Yeah.
I'd be super wasted.
I'd be wasted, yeah. High, the whole word.
Dude, I don't know how they can do that. Like, those guys start tailgating like for the big games. They're tailgating like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The whole 3 meals are done there.
I guess it's
And
like
it's all liquid.
Well,
all
I guess it's like getting high consistently as compared to drinking consecutively like that is not it's not as bad. You know what I mean? Like, I would say like you can handle it. Now I mean we're getting towards towards the end. I wanted to ask one major question because I go hiking a lot, bro, and you know what I mean. Like I like going early when I get to see the animals with their guard down. You know what I mean? Like the last hunt before the sun comes and people know that the animals are coming. The animals know humans are coming. Can somebody just find one of these birds and just be like, oh damn, like its mom's not here, or like it's abandoned? Like, how do you know when to rescue one of these birds, or like if is that even a thing?
So I'll say, the majority of the time this happens like May, June, July with Cooper's hawks. It's a small incipiter. It's about half the size. And when they're branchers, they fall off occasionally. Mom is right there. Mom's going to feed them. Like, oh, let's pick them up. Don't even worry about it. Like 99 out of 100 times, mom's there and it's going to take care of them, right? And it's honestly, it's one of the best things just to leave it. It's like a natural. It's like, yeah, I love nature. Nature's delicious, but you know, nature needs to happen too at the same time. And it sounds like it's like something cruel, but it's honestly a thing. Like nature's going to take its course. Like that's, you know, Darwinism. That's genetic selection. That's all part of it. So honestly, like for me, as much as like I love these guys, right? I want to save every single one, do a lot of conservation work. You know, that's the best thing is just leave it because mom's going to be there to take care of them. And now you're going to pull them out of the environment to go place them with somebody. Now we're going to have some imprinting behavior. So now they're in humans. Now they can't be released.
Damn.
You hear that, Rock? Stop picking up squirrels. That includes other animals too, right?
Let them be. Like,
let them be, Rock.
Like,
if the squirrel's retarded and it fell off the tree, dude, let it be.
Let it be. A hawk needs
stay in the freeway.
This hawk
He
needs
needs
to
to
eat. Exactly. Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
What about that cat that he found on the freeway?
That fool was tagged. All right. I just.
And like I'm giving you crap and all for it, but it's like you're doing a good thing. I can't fault you for that, right? You're doing something out of love and respect for the animal. So,
I mean, that would, dude. It could have been a fucking pig,
No, I'm
dude.
kidding, man. I'm kidding. A cat, obviously, that cat was meant to be a pet because that's why it was. It's not like, I mean, it could have been feral, but
that motherfucker is
they
feral.
usually are feral. Like,
That motherfucker is feral, dog. He is.
you don't think someone like had it in a box?
Well,
and, like,
no, they
dropped it
did.
off?
Like somebody for sure fed him because this motherfucker knows how to use like a litter box and all that shit. But like, you know,
a lot of that's natural too. Like covering the fence and everything like that. That's all natural.
Like he kind of like, I'm like, for a feral cat, I'm like, he just kind of saw, he's like, that's the litter box. I'm gonna take a shit there, and I'm like, all right, at least you're not shitting everywhere. Otherwise, I'll let you out again. All right, yeah. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm playing it out. I'm giving it a month, dude, before that motherfucker needs to come around. I'm like, I tell him every day. I was like, hey, dude, I tell that cat every day. I'm like, this is week 1. You got 3 more weeks to get this shit together. Otherwise, it's the streets.
It took
It's not your kids. You can't be doing that at home. Like, all right, if it's like 26-year-old, like, you know, living in your mom's basement or something like that, like, all right, that's different, right? Like, you need to grow up, child.
Yeah,
Right? But it's like the cat. Some cats will never come around. Like that's going to be a lot of that's built into them now, and that's.
I'm joking. I say that to fuck around with my cat. As I'm feeding him this morning, I was like, you know what I'm saying, Harvey? I was like, this is week 2. Let's start off on a good pace.
So when he gouges your eyeballs out, we know why. Because you're sitting there threading him like that. He doesn't know the difference. Like, middle of the night, he's going to get you.
No, you know what? Last night he hopped on the bed, bro, and I felt this motherfucker, and I was like, look, man, I'm not mean to you or anything, but I did have this like sixth sense. I was like, what if he's just coming up here to scratch me? Like, you know, I was like, what if he's just like, motherfucker? He's like, I know
you probably deserved it.
He's like, I know what you mean. He's like, you know, he's like, he understands. No, but he knows, like these motherfuckers know I love animals. Like, it's
yeah.
I was
I'm just giving you a hard time. I know.
But it is kind of funny because they do have their own attitude. Like my other cat, completely 360. Like he's just like, pick me up, make me dance, do whatever you want. But this guy, he's like, I come out when you're asleep.
And yeah, that's a lot of feral cats, especially are nocturnal. Most cats are nocturnal, like foxes, stuff like that. They're all nocturnal. So give him time, and he'll do his thing, and he'll figure it out.
Every cat has its own personality, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know I'd have one to be my match. You know,
My cat's an asshole.
like
It's cool.
Yeah. Hey man, I do want to thank you, Jason, for coming on. Number 1, let's give him a round of applause.
Oh, that was fun. That was
like,
Thank you.
I want to say, like, I've learned a lot because every time, like, I go to, like, I go to the zoo, bro. Like, I like seeing the animals, like, and the reason, in
and
a
now
sense,
you know the lions are retarded.
well, I mean that's now I do know they're retarded, but I like seeing them because where the fuck else am I gonna see a fucking lion? I'm not gonna go to Africa, and it's majestic as fuck, and sadly it's in this fucking cage. But like, hey man, I'm like. It's cool as fuck to see this different kind of species because I would never see these things in real life, you know.
No, I get it.
But getting to talk to you and actually getting to know so much about these birds, like you made me definitely think about a lot. And like next time I do see an animal while I'm hiking, as much as I gotta keep on hiking, I'm gonna let it be. You know what I mean? Like I don't know about the cat. If it's on the freeway, I'm stopping, bro. I'm gonna put it at the shelter. I'm not gonna come back for it, but I'm gonna put it at the shelter.
That's fair enough. They'll fix it, cut it loose. And
Yeah, straight up. But yeah, like I've really learned a lot, and I have learned that nature has to do what it has to do. Apparently.
Yeah. And like you said, I have an open door policy. Like you guys can come out, we hang out, fly the hawk around.
That'd
like
be
we're gonna mess with
amazing.
them afterwards here. You guys want to forge your own blades too, because that's part of what I do as well, right? We didn't talk about that at all, but
wow, yeah. I mean,
No, wait, was
we
that-
can
no,
definitely
we
bring you
can
back
touch
on.
on it.
I was,
next time.
Yeah, of course.
Forge the
Yeah.
same.
Forge your own blades.
Yeah. So I have a little nonprofit, Forging Vets, and I you know, like after I got out of the Army, like I was really effed up in the head. Like really bad PTSD, night terrors. Like I broke my hands on the wall, like sleeping.
Damn.
Like not even awake. Like I'm just like swinging.
It's like some Batman shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lot cooler with more money. But it's like I built this, like try to create, you know, a culture or something for like these guys to be able to come and hang out and bond with some people of similar experience. Cause like you get it. Like I don't need to say anything, but like you get it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it other than that. And you get that camaraderie out of it. But yeah, I'll teach you guys how to make your own blades.
It's crazy. I mean, I follow.
Are you coming along for that vlog episode?
No, dude. I'm already.
I'm gonna talk to Jason. We're gonna coordinate it after the show. That way we pick out a date. Because I mean, obviously, I know you're busy, but I do want to come out there with my crew and obviously film this because that would be quite the experience.
This whole thing's gonna be dope. I mean, like I follow this guy that does a blacksmith, and it's just like the way he makes a horseshoe.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how long and how perfected it is, and no one just appreciates how if that's made by hand, it's so much time and effort and a talent.
It's like
those guys are insane. That does like the true blacksmith, like bladesmithing and stuff I do is like the bastardized version of it all, right? Like because those guys that are doing artisan, like upsetting the material and all the different stuff.
I'll send you the guy I follow. He made a hammer,
dude,
and he makes it just it's hot. It's crazy.
Blacksmith and are like very much like glass blowers and all that shit. Like these fools do not get enough credit for playing with fire like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like that's a lot of molding work. Like I would say, like glass molding sometimes is a bit less intense because the tools that have come around where you're just like you're able to do it. Like, you know, to able to from start to finish, it's advanced. But I feel like the same techniques every time I go see a blacksmith. This motherfucker's right there, almost with a knight in shining armor, just ping, ping, and I'm just like, hey, bro, like. You couldn't make this an easier process throughout time, or like, you know, like what's going on?
Well, we got like power hammers. I got like a hydraulic press, so we can do some like Damascus steel stuff. We can make our own like billets of steel, like high carbon, high contrast, so it's like silver black.
Yeah.
So we
Game
can do
of
something
Thrones
like
shit. I love this.
Oh, dude. One of the guys told me, so I'm going to be the dagger that with the antler and everything on it from Game of Thrones. That's one on my to do project.
Oh, wow. So, that's fucking dope.
I got some gifts to knock out. I'm going to be handing out. You'll see them the next home match.
Yeah, so can you tell them where to follow you? Yeah. I mean, because you have a dope Instagram. Like, let
you do.
All right. We got 3 of them though. So we got, if you want just like
shout them all out.
All right. So like if you want the LAFC bird stuff associated, like, you know, LAFC, that's LAFC Falconer. My dad and I run that together. My personal one is like my blog. Like literally, I drove through a sandstorm to get here this morning. Right. So _HAWKGUY. And you'll see the Hawks Falcons behind the scenes stuff, like under the tunnels when I'm out there, at the stadium, like all that fun stuff, right? That you normally don't see. That's really unfiltered. Then like the Forging Vets, which is a 501c3, which is a nonprofit, which is, you know, at Forging Vets and forgingvets.org as well.
Damn. There you go. Make sure you guys follow him. And if you do go to a LAFC game, you know, you fuck around and come to the pregame. That's how this interview came about. I was over there taking RSO, giving RSO pills to the other homies, and we're all just taking edibles and going to the game. And bam, we're just like, look, dude, Ollie's out. He's like, it's not Ollie, it's one of the other birds. And
that was Sonny, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it came about, and it's been quite the experience, man. And thank you for what you do, and thank you for your service, because you know you have been in the military, and I look forward to going out to you know, to where the HQ is at, you know, and actually maybe feeding these birds, flying them around, and doing all that stuff. That to me is like is living, bro. I have a lot of respect for people like Steve Irwin and you know that the guy who got the Wild Boys. You know, like even though they were more on the comedic type of thing, but even though I watched all the behind the scenes, these motherfuckers respected every single one of these animals, like with all due respect. Like you don't get that up close without fearing and understanding the animal as well. So like you know, it's nature is scary, it's beautiful, but you gotta respect it. Yeah. Straight up. And that's one of the things where like I've always like stood by it. Also, make sure you guys follow Ray, Morning Shot Films, Morning Real Podcast. Thank you for running the show. Xavier, shout outs.
Hit that like button. Thank you for coming on. I was super educational. I felt like I was like a live Discovery Channel vlog, but that was dope. And thank you for the Falcons for letting us fly throughout the world. Obviously, I didn't know how much of importance they were.
Next time I go to Japan, fool, like I'm gonna be like, yo, shout out to the birds.
I fly a lot, so I'm like, yo, thanks to the Falcons.
Let me know when you go. I want to go.
Yeah,
I want to go.
All right,
dude. Look at the weeb tattoo I got. Like I got AOT on my arm.
Dude, this would be anime. I know. I was like, I was looking at that and I was like, oh, this guy's on the same page.
Oh yeah, he knows.
I don't have anime, but you know, I got all my fucking childhood up in here too. Yeah. So yeah, Yeah, so I'll definitely let you know about that because like I do go out there to just like good 10 days, and I know this time because I was able to make friends last time. They're like, yo, we're going sightseeing. We're gonna go to the Arctic monkeys. We're gonna go see the fucking top of the mountain and shit. Yeah. So I look forward to doing all that stuff, man. You gotta start doing it. Don't forget while you're out there to doing this thing that we call life, to do a little bit of living every now and then. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes if you go out and just fucking take a walk, go to a fucking park. I'm not talking about the park that's inhabited by your homeless down the street. I'm talking about a real park where like they wouldn't survive. That's why they're not there, and the animals still roam. Take a walk at a fucking park every now and then, and really enjoy nature, because nature will definitely calm you down, will motivate you, and will do all kinds of things. In a sense, all kind of in a healing aspect. Don't forget, I'll see some of you guys this Saturday at the High and Hungry Experience at Craft Beer Kings. Over 30 vendors, 5 High and Hungry alumni food vendors selling bomb-ass food, 20% off all the craft beer in the store. Huntington Beach on Beach Boulevard. Parking is going to be scarce, so make sure but there's hella parking on that, like just that whole big strip, like literally and all around that. So just make sure you guys arrive early. It's from 12 to 6. All the vendors, loading time is from 8 to 11. It's going to be a very great time. Over 350 people expected to be there, and some of you guys, I know that you guys are waiting on the tickets to be added. Additionally, I will be working on that as soon as we get off of this. But trust me, I will be adding more tickets for you guys because I know some of you guys are late bloomers, I can see apparently. And yeah, thank you everybody for all the new followers on Patreon as well. And there's a lot of new merch that I put up last night, including the Psycho Les t-shirt.
It's dope. Go get it.
We have on there. Salute to Real Recognize Real for making this dope quality t-shirt. And this is probably the highest caliber t-shirt that I have made, with about over 250 GSM on the quality. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It's another face painting episode, which is we're staying in tune with the theme. Shout out to all the birds out there making it happen one step at a time. And shout out to you, Jason.
All right. Much love. Thank you, gents. Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right.